Our protagonist stood amidst the battlefield, silently crying out for help. The goddess had implored me after contemplating the giant monster. He looked up at the sky. Please save this world that is on the verge of destruction. The entire sky was dyed the color of twilight along with Hanbit's desperate plea. So I gave my all. He stepped forward, dazed. Was the war finally over? Were the other comrades? But Hanbit's body could no longer hold out. A large amount of blood fell to the ground with each of his heavy steps. Hanbit's face darkened, his eyes glazed over. He moved his lips without making a sound. My body no longer obeys my commands. Hanbit's body fell backward, with nothing but the pink sky before his eyes. So sleepy. He collapsed from exhaustion, just for a moment. But Hanbit still tried to keep his will awake. Must sleep, he tried to tell himself as he closed his eyes. Just for a little bit. While Hanbit was unconscious, he suddenly heard the mechanical sound in his ear, bright light. Death regression 31 times. Soul possession 17 times. Reincarnation 7 times. A total of 55 regressions. Hanbit opened his eyes, annoyed, and looked around. Damn it, I can't take it anymore. How many times has it been already? He thought angrily to himself. This time also ended after suffering like a dog. Hanbit looked up when he heard the goddess's voice. This time seems quite long. He grimaced, feeling uncomfortable. Quite long, huh? Her whole body radiated a bit of light along with an angry voice. Are you even in a position to say that? Hanbit greeted her. Goddess. The goddess stood high above and looked down, saying, how about trying a change of pace by reincarnating after a long time this time? He sat up angrily and shouted, stop using that. Hanbit stared straight into her emotionless eyes and judged her silently. This emotionless entity, surprisingly, is called a goddess. The more he thought, the angrier he got. It was you who called me to this place. Wasn't like you kidnapped me. Hanbit felt like a puppet of the goddess. At the time that I don't even remember when it was anymore. The goddess had kidnapped me to this place. He recalled the misfortunes he had been through, and then suddenly she told me to find the airport to save the world, and just threw me into this different world. And thus, hell began. The emotionless sounds of the machines repeated continuously. You have died. Every time Hanbit's body was injured, that sound would ring out. You have died. That voice haunted his mind. You have died. Throughout 55 regressions, I had to endure all kinds of torture to the point where I couldn't even remember how I died anymore. In the end, I still didn't find even a small clue about what the airport actually was. Hanbit angrily approached her and criticized. I really can't do it anymore. Do you hear me? The thing called an airport or whatever it is. From now on, you go find it yourself. The goddess only replied in an emotionless voice. I cannot do that. If so, this world will be destroyed. His face grimaced with a trembling voice. Before that happens, my mentality will be shattered. You damn goddess. She turned her head to look and replied. Strange. I have confirmed that the mental therapy system is still working normally. Hanbit's voice trembled with anger. It's impossible to talk, really. Damn it. He thought to himself about his fate in this world. Anyway, it was the truth. No matter how miserably I died, as long as I returned to this place, both body and soul would be completely healed. Those memories kept haunting Hanbit, never letting go. However, the memory of the pain whenever death was near was always clear, gnawing away at my mind. The memories of the pain accumulated throughout those 55 times. It had long surpassed my own limits of endurance. The goddess's emotionless voice continued to ring out. It's almost time to prepare for the next round. Still want to regress this time? These words made him lose his temper. Damn it. I already said I wouldn't do it anymore. Her answer made Hanbit go even crazier. This body is biologically female, so the previous request is not feasible. When he seemed desperate, the goddess spoke up and said, just kidding. Hanbit's pupils dilated in surprise. What did you say? The goddess spoke up to encourage him. You have put in your best effort for the assigned role. You are completely qualified to return to your original world. He sweated, feeling awkward. It's over. I clearly failed to save the world 55 times. She shook her head and replied, this is more about the process than the results. You don't need to worry about it anymore. The goddess pointed at Hanbit and continued. So I will send you back immediately. He was bewildered and stopped her as his whole body emitted blue light. Wait, hold on. Stop for a second. I still have many things I want to ask. She looked coldly at Hanbit being dragged away. Thanks to you, I've been helped a lot. Everything you have accumulated will become a great source of power. He shouted in panic. Only knowing how to talk about yourself, and then chasing people away. What? You crazy woman? The goddess stood high above watching Hanbit being swallowed by the light, and said, I will have high expectations there too. Hanbit sat up and sighed, clutching his face. Oh, I feel so nauseous. He stepped off the bed, placed his hand on the doorknob, and thought. 18 months. Hanbit scratched his head and opened the door to step outside. A full 18 months had passed since I returned to reality. He went to the living room and looked around. Because I'd spent so much time regressing, possessing, and transmigrating, I had almost no memories of reality. But now they were gradually returning. Hanbit muttered, Is Mom gone to work? He looked at the clothes in the laundry basket with annoyance. I didn't expect the day I was kidnapped by the goddess to be the day right before I enlisted in the army. Hanbit grimaced and sighed. 18 months had passed just like that, and I had just been discharged from the army yesterday. He poured water into a cup while frowning, thinking back, and felt even crazier. Hanbit remembered the memories back in the army. If you count the number of times I had to serve in the military during the process of regression, soul possession, and transmigration, it was the 6th time I had to enlist. Of course, it was a bit different from the reality's military. But he leaned his back tiredly against the chair and looked up at the ceiling. Adapting to modern life is damn hard. All thanks to that damn goddess. I had to prepare like crazy to manage to become an intern, and I don't know how long I can stay. If I return to school, I have to apply for an early job first. The future is so bleak. The whole room sank into a heavy silence. Only the sound of the phone, ringing continuously, made Hanbit uncomfortable enough to stand up. All right, I'm coming. Coming right now. He picked up his phone when he received a message. Hey bro, let's keep partying today. Hanbit sat down and replied with an annoyed attitude. Drink in moderation. You crazy guy, I'm old. I'm exhausted, kid. The person on the other end replied with a teasing attitude. What the hell? Just that? Are you scared? Scared, huh? He thought angrily when he received this information. This kid dares to provoke me again. Hanbit raised his head and sighed. Well, whatever. Anyway, he is a precious younger brother who took care of me when I was just returned to reality and was immediately thrown into the military. The person on the other end immediately replied. Anyway, the drinking thing is just me kidding. I have a discharge gift for you. Hanbit was a bit surprised and replied. A discharge gift? Why are you giving me a gift all of a sudden? Yunwoo again had a teasing attitude. Oh, come on, my brother. As soon as I mention a gift, you answer so quickly. Hanbit went quiet, thinking, a gift from this kid is worth looking forward to, right? As soon as Hanbit arrived at the meeting point, Yunwoo waved enthusiastically. Brother Hanbit, I'm here. He smiled brightly. I already ordered food for you. He silently judged this kid as Yunwoo, a senior who was 4 months ahead of me in the military, but 5 years younger than me. He sat in a chair and started the conversation. Even though we partied so hard yesterday, Yunwoo still looks sober, huh? Yunwoo nodded and replied, I'm still young, unlike you. Hanbit asked while eating ice cream. Anyway, what is the gift? He showed a bit of self-pity. You keep asking for the gift right away. It makes me feel sorry for myself, you know. He coldly picked up his bag and turned to leave. Today was fun. Let's meet again later. Yunwoo hurriedly reached out and called. Wait, brother. He took out a card and gave it to Hanbit. You remember the game I mentioned before, the .lick project? Yunwoo smirked and enticed. This is a level 2 RP membership card. You can receive equipment to play RP right at home. And it's even equipment capable of level 2 synchronization. He stared blankly at the card in his hand. This is a gift from me. Just feel free to take it. Don't be shy. Yunwoo winked mischievously. It costs about 500 million. But since it's you, it's fine. Hanbit was enticed by that card and sat back down. Do you need a house sitter? Just leave it to me. He laughed and replied. My house still has plenty of empty rooms. Do you really want to move in? He raised his hand to stop him. Just kidding, I found a job. I have to go to work starting tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to play games. You know how difficult my family situation is. If needed, I might even have to take on a second job. Yunwoo's eyes lit up when this topic was mentioned. In short, the top priority is still making money. Right, brother? Hanbit smirked and said, Of course, instead of spending time playing RP, working extra jobs makes more sense. He smiled brightly and replied, "You really don't have a bit of romance at all." He angrily grabbed Yun Wu's hair and nagged, "You Dan, can you grind romance to eat? Can the game support you, huh?" He screamed in fear. "Huh? My hair is all messed up," Yun Wu constantly begged in pain. RP can change your life and make a fortune in a heartbeat. In the end, he honestly confessed the figure up to billions. "For real, brother." Hanbit was a little shaken and stopped his hand. "Billions." He let go of Yun Wu's hair and rearranged his seat. Hanbit sat down and rested his hand on the table with a serious attitude. "Please excuse my impoliteness. Sergeant Yun Wu, I hope you can explain this in more detail." He sweated and opened his phone to look. Corporal Kong Hanbit accepts that the developer who created RP is Team Jetso, right? "Sorry, from the very beginning, I didn't understand what you were saying." Yun Wu shoved the phone screen into his face. "The will of Michael On, the founder of Team Jetso, was just announced not long ago, and it caused a huge shock. I will transfer all ownership of RP to the first player to conquer it. This was already a super hot game all over the world, but after this it exploded even more violently. As such, the value of items in the game also skyrocketed." Hanbit listened intently to him, especially the tips to beat the game. It seems that no matter how high the price, there are always buyers. Even top major corporations are pouring billions into establishing specialized gaming teams to try to beat it. He closed his eyes and listened to him rave. Of course, that doesn't mean individual players have absolutely no chance. Hanbit silently calculated. It wasn't anyone else but my Oi Tan who made this condition, so he nodded and agreed immediately. "All right, let's give it a try." Yun Wu's eyes lit up with joy. "For real, brother, don't go back on your word." He excitedly shared, "I have put so much effort into preparing this, so let's give it a try." Hanbit praised happily. "You're truly my brother." Yun Wu excitedly carried his backpack and said, "So, shall we go now?" He grimaced uncomfortably looking at him. The next morning, at an event, Hanbit stood among the crowd with an uncomfortable attitude. "Hey Yun Wu, isn't it too crowded here?" He innocently smiled again. "Compared to the US or Europe, this is nothing yet." Yun Wu excitedly grabbed his collar and went. "The place we need to go is this direction." Hanbit shouted in confusion. "Why are you grabbing my collar?" His eyes sparkled brightly. "First of all, we have to buy the guide for beginners." He stood blankly, letting him drag him away. "A guide? Can't we just jump in and play?" Yun Wu dragged Hanbit to the bookshelf and took down a book. RP is not a beginner-friendly game. He proudly handed the book to him and introduced it. "So there's a person named Adventurer A who wrote a guide specifically for beginners. If it weren't for it, I probably would have given up halfway. This is advice from a senior. You must buy it." Hanbit opened the book to look. All right, I know. Let me see the content before buying." His angry voice suddenly rang out. "What the hell is this?" Yun Wu widened his eyes in surprise. "What's wrong?" The goddess's emotionless voice suddenly rang in Hanbit's ear. "Didn't you say you were looking forward to it?" he said with a trembling, confused voice. "Why is this here?" He grimaced angrily and gritted his teeth. "Find the airport." In Hanbit's heart, there was always a lingering concern. For the past 2 years, there's been a question in my heart that remains unanswered. "I will wait for you there." What did that sentence really mean? And why did he accept letting me leave? It turns out everything has its root cause. He was dazed, lost in thought, and didn't hear Yun Wu calling. "Brother Hanbit, what's wrong with you?" Brother Hanbit was still deep in his own thoughts. From the beginning, he never intended to let me go. He screamed and called, "Brother Hanbit." He started back to reality. Yun Wu ran over anxiously and asked, "Why do you look so stressed?" He found this too difficult. Hanbit shook his head in confusion. "That's not it, but I have something I want to ask you." He pointed at the book in his hand and asked, "Do you know any information about the group called Team Zero?" He spoke softly to explain. "Perhaps everyone has heard their name, but no one knows the details about them. All external activities are handled by the current representative of Team Zero herself. I think it's Michael Welton's youngest daughter. Both the scale of the development team and information about the members are kept strictly confidential." Hanbit rubbed his chin and pondered. "Very suspicious. Does this organization have any connection to that goddess? But why is the final goal a game?" He frowned, trying to think why. Hanbit opened his eyes slightly when he remembered past memories. The image of him kneeling on the ground, with the ashes of a battle behind him, appeared in his mind. The world I was pushed into was not a trivial game. At least, he angrily picked up his sword and slashed wildly. The disgust when first taking someone else's life with his own hands. Hanbit's entire body fell to the ground with blood gushing out. Two feelings of extreme horror the first time experiencing death. At these times, the goddess's emotionless voice rang out. So that's a failure. He thought angrily to himself, the despair of having to repeat that life endlessly, still vividly in his mind. Hanbit could not help but doubt his own ability. Am I going in the right direction when actively returning to a place that could be hell? No. Maybe this time I can put an end to all this suffering. Returning to reality, he picked up his bank card and said, "You said to use this to receive the gaming device, right? How long will it take to receive the goods?" Yunwoo put his phone in Hanbit's hand and said, "Probably about 2 hours. These days they have express delivery. Give me the phone. I will install the necessary applications for you." He ran over and touched his stiff body, then continued, "By the way, you should buy a new book. This one is all crumpled." The two left the shopping center when the sky was dyed with the color of twilight. Yunwoo waved goodbye and left first. "I will enter the game first. Let me know as soon as you create an account." "I'll wait for you, brother." Hanbit raised his hand and waved back. "I will try to enter as soon as possible." He thought in confusion. Even if I rushed home, the device probably hadn't arrived yet. As soon as Hanbit returned, he saw a parcel placed in front of his door. "Oh, it's here." He bent down and took the box into the house. A game machine that costs up to 5 million. Really? Very quickly, Hanbit successfully supplemented it and put the items on the bed. He curiously picked up each item to examine. Hanbit got off the bed and locked the door. There was still some time before his mother returned home. First, he put the bracelet on his hand, just to test it out. The device was put on Hanbit. He lay down on the bed and entered the game space. The machine's voice rang out, scanning biometric data, analyzing brainwaves. Connection successful. Character created. Starting appearance customization process. Hanbit looked around blankly. It felt much more realistic than he imagined. Maybe because of the wearable device, my hands and feet felt a little heavy. He excitedly looked at his body. Heard that I could freely adjust the appearance. I'll adjust a little. But why doesn't the settings window appear? A game bug? Says it's a hot game, but it seems a bit sloppy. Very quickly, Hanbit became serious again and looked at the screen in front of him. Forget it. A restart will probably fix it. Is this the exit button? He didn't hesitate and pressed it. The system suddenly switched to a red warning. Character creation unsuccessful. Hanbit screamed in panic. Wait a minute. Is this my virtual character? Goddess, is this also you're doing? No matter how much he panicked, the system still ran. In an instant, Hanbit's whole body was equipped with a new outfit. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the image of seagulls flying in the sky. Below was the yellow sand beach and white waves of the sea. The place Hanbit was transferred to was Edlin Harbor City. He stood on a sea ship looking into the city. It's been a long time since I came back here. At this moment, Hanbit saw his face through the nearby glass window. He was stunned with surprise to see that he was too handsome. This is... Hanbit blankly touched his face. My appearance is exactly the same as the last regression. Suddenly, a bloodstain appeared on his face. Could this be the goddess's hidden message? Hanbit looked horrified at the bloodstains on his hands, that everything would have to start from scratch. He stared at his trembling hands. The system suddenly rang out a notification. From Loper. Brother, let's be friends. Add friend, brother. Brother. Hey, Sergeant Kong, answer the phone, man. Hanbit stared in surprise when he saw this name. He held his head in annoyance and muttered. Loper is Yunwoo's nickname, right? Where do I click to add a friend? Yunwoo's voice suddenly rang out. Brother. He ran over enthusiastically to greet him. I told you to report to me as soon as you logged in. Hanbit blankly asked, Is that Yunwoo? Ah, yes, it's me. Yunwoo widened his eyes and thought about something. He leaned in close to him to tease. Why did you set the character appearance like that? Not many people keep their real-life appearance in the game. Seriously? Hanbit laughed awkwardly. Ah, well, it was just a coincidence. Yunwoo asked excitedly. The class also looks like your style. But what's up with the character name? He replied in an emotionless voice. Character name? What's my name? He smiled brightly. You named it yourself, and you don't know? Click on the character information section here. Hanbit's finger froze when he saw his name in the game. While he laughed because it was funny, his face grimaced with annoyance. Hanbit angrily grabbed Yun Wu's hair. This name wasn't named by me. Find a way to change it quickly. He couldn't stop laughing. Didn't you read the warning carefully when creating the character? This nickname has been engraved into the biometric information, so it can never be changed. Hanbit shouted angrily. This is too real. It's driving me crazy. Yenwu laughed out loud. My stomach hurts. I'm dying of laughter. Hanbit shouted angrily. This is too real. It's driving me crazy. Yenwu laughed out loud. My stomach hurts. I'm dying of laughter. Hanbit was so angry he wanted to choke him. Stop making fun of others, you punk. Yenwu screamed in pain. Stop, stop. Brother, look at the notification first. He frowned in annoyance when he saw the notification in front of him. What notification? Hanbit read the content on the screen seriously. What is this? You even do live streams? Your game screen will be broadcast live on your channel. Do you agree? He ran up and clicked agree. Yenwu said, laughing through tears. Although the number of viewers isn't high yet, I still do it regularly. The game supports a separate live streaming platform called a recorder. It feels fun to chat live while playing games. He asked, is this how you said you make money? Why would I live stream? He waved his hand and smiled. Don't be too pressured. I'll take care of the hosting. You just need to focus on playing. We'll split the profits. If the channel grows later, I'm ready to let you take a larger share. Hanbit gave Yun Wu an annoyed look. He crossed his arms and gritted his teeth, looking elsewhere. Fine, whatever. So that means if we earn 1,000, I get 500, right? He hugged Hanbit's neck nonchalantly. Just trust me this one time. Yun Wu pulled him to start the live stream. Hello, everyone. I'm Loper, and joining me today is Boss Black Dragon. We will be bringing you more exciting content soon. He smiled happily, looking at the comments scrolling by. Welcome the new member. That character name sounds really strange. Hanbit grimaced irritably while reading the comments on the screen. These guys must be suffering from late puberty. Typical of aesthetics poor kids, low level like this. What kind of dragon is that? Yun reminded him in a low voice. Calm down, brother. The more annoyed you get, the more they will tease you. Did you forget that our main goal is to make money? Hanbit whispered back. It's clear they're just trying to provoke people on purpose. The comments continued to scroll. Dad is still awake, streaming and still picky about negative comments? His eyes sparkled brightly, looking hopeful. Boss, just try to accommodate me for now. What should you do next? The comments continued to pop up. Let me show you what real malicious comments look like. Yun Wu loudly explained the rules of this world. Since you're a newcomer, first take a look at the suggested skills. The system will scan player information and propose the 3 most suitable skills. Hanbit crossed his arms, nodding as he listened to his explanation, thinking about how he had accumulated many techniques throughout 55 regressions. It would be great if those techniques could be recreated as skills in this place. He clicked on the card floating in front of him. He looked excitedly at the card Hanbit had just clicked on. Have you checked it yet? I'm curious to see what you got. Both of them widened their eyes in shock as a blinding light appeared before them. Cards suddenly appeared in midair in a chaotic mess. They looked at the scene before them in bewilderment. Brother, what's the result? Is it to that extent? The viewers also wondered about the scene. What the hell? The cards suddenly flipped in front of their eyes at a dizzying speed. Yun Wu and Hanbit widened their eyes, looking up in surprise along with the comments. How did you do that move? It must be a game bug. A clear bug. If it's really a system error, will I get a reward? Come on. Hack for real. Are you using a hack? I'm sending a report to denounce you right now. Hey, give me one like that too. Oh, this trashy game again. It's a hack, obviously. He widened his eyes and said loudly. Hey bro, how did you manage that? He replied in surprise. Why is everyone turning to question me about this? Yun Wu widened his eyes in shock. He stuttered blankly. This is actually... Hanbit asked. What happened? Why does everyone look so strange? Yun Wu took a deep breath, awkwardly. His eyes widened and he clenched his fists. Hidden skill. That is definitely a hidden skill. Yun Wu shouted excitedly. That's amazing. And it seems there isn't just one or two. The viewers were stunned. This is crazy. What a damn bug. But is it a big benefit to get hidden items? Only a newbie would ask that. A comment asked, "What's the appearance rate?" He stared at the cards in front of him. Even so, it was only considered a suggestion. His eyes sparkled brightly. This isn't just a simple suggestion. There are too many symbols I've never seen before. Guys, do you see this? It's really top tier, isn't it? While Yunwoo danced behind him, Hanbit focused on thinking about these cards. I can understand the meaning of all of them. He didn't hesitate and clicked on a card. Starting like this isn't bad at all. Hanbit turned back and asked him, "But for you, isn't 1,001 money?" Yunwoo crossed his arms and said leisurely, "Even if it's a small amount, business must be clear." He cleared his throat and analyzed seriously. Although small, to me, 1,001 is extremely valuable. If you and I both fell into the water, I would definitely save that bill. He struggled and refused. That's too much. The comments showed evaluations. This lazy guy isn't even worth 1,001, cheaper than old tires. His life value is being auctioned off at a cheap price. Yunwoo calmed down and looked at the screen in front of him. Anyway, this fire magic needs to be brought to Hugh Liu. He intended to go, but saw Hanbit still standing still, so he called, "Hurry up. Why are you still standing there blankly?" He replied to Yunwoo with a question. "I think I need to find a magic master. Do you know this person?" Hanbit's screen displayed the image of girl. He widened his eyes, looking at his system screen. Hanbit stood with his hands on his hips and spoke. "To learn magic, don't I need a guide?" But his words made the viewers annoyed and lectured him. What is this guy rambling about? Anyone who aspires to become a mage. Look for me. Planning to check the records again? Yunwoo hurriedly pushed him away and explained. "Come on, everyone, calm down. This guy just doesn't understand the world yet." Hanbit grumbled in annoyance. What else is happening now? He looked at the characters on the screen and said, "Just complete the quests and achievements, and you'll get skill books right away." The NPCs, even with high artificial intelligence, aren't at the level of teaching skills. He rested his chin and thought about that book. Skill books? The world has become much more convenient now, hasn't it? Hanbit remembered the image of himself falling to the ground begging. "Master, how about we take a break here for today?" He stood with hands on hips and reminded, "Don't complain anymore. Get up right now. There is still a mountain of knowledge waiting for you to absorb." He helplessly thought about those days. "I remember I used to struggle much more than this back in the day." Hanbit said, "Let's go quickly. We're heading to the grocery store, right?" Yunwoo looked surprised. "Huh? How do you know that so clearly?" His face twisted in pain from the interaction when reading the comments in front of him. "Mage? Cool magic for real. Black Dragon pursues romance. Sounds cool as hell. What kind of magic is that?" Hanbit grumbled in annoyance. What's wrong with him? Is magic really that useless? He widened his eyes and scratched his head. It's like this. Yunwoo's low voice rang out. The most crucial factor in this game is the proficiency level. Compared to other skills, increasing proficiency for magic is extremely difficult. He carefully explained in detail. When the proficiency bar is full, a star will appear. But before that, you can't even tell how much you've accumulated. The screen scrolled a comment. "Honestly, this needs to be updated and fixed. If you don't know for sure, just try it out. If it's a guy like the Black Dragon who used only one type of spell for 2 months and then cried and gave up, I recommend it." The painful memories surfaced in his mind again. "I still remember that very clearly. That it takes talent and effort to learn something is natural." Hanbit remembered the items he possessed. Among them, especially magic had extremely high difficulty. For that very reason, with magic, seeking a master is the most important thing. He asked in an emotionless voice, "Who will teach? Do I have the right to choose for myself?" Yunwoo answered immediately. A teacher. In Hanbit's heart, a determination was formed. "I must develop well, using these things as a springboard. Based on that advancement, I will find out the difference between this reality and the world I once knew and what the true purpose that goddess is hiding." He suddenly remembered the goddess's emotionless gaze. Hanbit didn't hesitate and clicked on the screen. "I'll start with fire magic, something that's not too complicated." He looked up and asked him, "Loper, do you know where to get quests?" Yunwoo widened his eyes, looking at Hanbit's screen. "Huh, are you really planning to follow the path of magic?" He asked curiously. "Why, is that path not okay?" He revealed, "You can buy fire magic books from the old merchant Julio at the grocery store." He stared in surprise. "Julio? That ugly scammer?" Hanbit asked worriedly again. Are you really planning to find that guy? For what? Yunwoo held his head and replied with an innocent tone. Because you need to find magic books to buy. He spoke with a serious attitude. That guy is a complete villain. Those books are all scams. The screen showed the viewer's judgments again. Either that, or because he looks unpleasant. Julio must be crying his eyes out right now. He flips between black and white as easily as turning a hand. He's really not an ordinary guy. In Yunwoo's heart, he felt excited. Julio just donated 1,001. I'll sue him. His eyes sparkled brightly. Oh my God. Thanks to Julio for the 1,001 sponsorship. Hamid asked, was the money just transferred to the account? Yunwoo nodded and smiled brightly. That's right, although there's a small transaction fee. You also just earned about 501. He widened his eyes, attracted by his words. The comment scrolled up. So that's how it works. Using hidden skills to make a quick profit. How naive, Yunwoo whispered in a low voice. That scenario isn't bad, but if you keep overdoing it, I'm afraid you'll get roasted. Hamid frowned and asserted. This is absolutely not acting or anything. He remembered Bear's malicious words. I don't know where you read that information, but for gamers, Bear is just an NPC for a mission. Hamid was certain that an NPC specializing in fraud and theft, once caught, would never appear again. Even though the character design was quite beautiful and many people requested additional storylines for her, he sighed tiredly and turned away. All right, let's speak with practical results. Let's go find her. Hanbit went quiet, looking at the comments in front of him. The idea is good, but I'm starting to get annoyed. You said you're a newbie. Why are you so conservative? Really stubborn, he decided loudly. Then we'll go to Julio first. Let's try following the path everyone is discussing. The comments continue to scroll. He's accepting everyone's opinions. If he's really a scammer, I bet 10,001. If he's not a scammer, you have to do a sexy dance. Let's go, damn it. Why do I have to witness that scene? Hanbit decided. Let's go, decided. He blushed in annoyance, remembering his own dancing. I can perform that sexy dance anytime. Back in the army, I danced all the time. The viewers took turns showing disdain. Who wants to see that? Truly the beauty crossing the bridge too much. Who was the one who suggested that sexy dance? Hanbit calmed down, turned around, and urged. Anyway, let's go, follow me. He looked blankly at the direction he was going. Why go that way? Hanbit turned his head and replied. I intend to take a shortcut for speed. Yunwoo innocently ran after him. Here, how do you know this path? Isn't this your first time? He replied in a lazy tone. Just intuition. Very quickly, the two stood in front of Julio's shop. Everyone, we've arrived. He looked inside and saw Julio's cowering appearance. A thought appeared in Hanbit's mind. Julio, his hands trembled with anger. The image of his past life appeared. Troublesome memories were starting to rush back. Hanbit asked, what is the limit of interaction with NPCs? He stood next to him and explained. The level of freedom here is so high that finding what can't be done is faster. It's so high that sometimes it causes the game process to get stuck. The comments scrolled again in front of both of them. This freedom is truly crazy. For real, if you provoke an NPC, you can even be imprisoned. Some people had to delete their characters because quests were completely locked. Freedom always comes with responsibility. He was angry when he heard the voice of the person next to him. Hanbit stormed into the store. He used force to open the door in front of him. The entire space around Hanbit was immersed in tension. The atmosphere at Julio's place was sparkling and vibrant along with a sycophantic voice. Welcome, distinguished guest. He suddenly grabbed his collar tightly. Hanbit gritted his teeth and questioned. Even in this place, you still live like that. He grimaced in anger at Julio's bewilderment. This unsalvageable piece of trash. Yunwoo threw the door open, looking shocked at Hanbit's back. His face changed color. He put his hand over his mouth to stop a fearful scream. Unbelievable. Boss Black Dragon is doing it for real. Lines of comments with astonishment scrolled by. You're done for. He really took action. Admin, get ready for another account ban. Hanbit radiated cold, murderous intent, glaring at the person under his feet with disdain. Julio was sweating profusely when his collar was tightly grabbed by the other person. What? Why can a customer say such things? Weren't you here by skill books? First, if possible, please let go of my hand. Hanbit gave a sharp glare, making the air tense. Hanbit decisively let go, standing upright after finishing the intimidation. Julio put his hand on his chest, explaining the incident that had just occurred. However, the magic book just now was the last one I had. I sincerely apologize for this inconvenience. He squinted calculatedly, showing a cunning smile, and offered, maybe it won't compensate much for you, but I can introduce you to another shop. Julio clasped his hands and bowed low to negotiate. On the condition that you help me with a small task first. He reached into his pocket under Hanbit's scrutinizing gaze. A thief sneaked in here while I was taking a nap. He held up a sparkling orange necklace high. As I see it, this seems to be a trick of a competitor. His eyes narrowed cunningly while staring at Hanbit. Are you willing to go catch her with me? The quest board appeared with attractive rewards. New quest. Oreo's money bag has been stolen. Use the found clues to capture the evil enemy. Capture the grocery store owner, Oxbell. Rewards, 100 gold. Referral letter to buy first level Fireball magic book, 50 experience points. No time limit. Countless dissatisfied comments scrolled past. Where's the guy who just said the Black Dragon was a scam? Someone said magic books and stuff were all frauds. Is he really going to have to dance? We won the bet. But why does it feel like we just lost? Julio grinned and said, what do you think about this offer? Hanbit remained calm in the face of the confusing proposal. Did he dare to use those blatant words to create a quest? He remembered the time Oxbell smiled radiantly and enthusiastically taught him magic. She herself was his true teacher and benefactor. But just because he was a student under her, he was slandered and had to go to jail in the first playthrough. Hanbit recalled the time he knelt desperately in the dungeon, listening to the insulting words. You're just a hunting dog of Oxbell. I guess you didn't learn anything other than theft from her. Julio stood authoritatively above, looking down at him with contempt. All defenses were useless against the guards who had received bribes and forged evidence. Hanbit turned his head and asked seriously, you said that I would receive the magic book if I completed this quest chain. Correct. At this moment, empathetic messages appeared. Truly pitiful. Black Dragon. Anyway, you still have to do that dance. Go ahead and dance. He continued to speak about his concern. What will happen to that thief? Yunwoo widened his eyes in surprise and answered the question. Once in jail, she will never have a chance to see the sun again. Hanbit stood still, trying to control his anger. Oxbell will also have to be jointly responsible for your sins. And as for the future of this store, isn't it already clear? He clenched his fists in extreme rage. Julio gave a fake smile, eyes narrowing as he invited. So, dear customer, what is your decision? He looked proud, clapping his hands to command. Hurry up and capture the criminal. Yunwoo was shocked by this impulsive action of Hanbit. Brother, what the hell are you doing? If you smash the store like that, then... Julio panicked when seeing Hanbit rummaging through things. Oh my god, dear customer. The comments were also extremely surprised. He definitely attracted all the hatred. Is he going to charge straight in there? Hanbit put his hand forward to prepare to seize the valuable bag of items. Shut your rotten mouth. You damn scammer. He calmly raised the loot high, casting a cold look at the other person. Didn't you say yourself that you were robbed? Julio gritted his teeth, directing his hateful gaze toward Hanbit. Quest to capture the scammer Leo. Reward 500 gold. Lines of comments with confusion scrolled past. Wait, it turned out to be a real scam. Did this really happen? Do a Chaco-style book move. His face turned red with anger as he gave his evaluation. You're truly a fast one. Julio hadn't finished speaking when Hanbit kicked him powerfully in the face. I have nothing to sell to your kind. Thud. He calmly kept his posture. He fell into the corner of the wall piled with wooden crates. Yunwoo covered his mouth, unable to believe Hanbit's actions. My gold. You should have warned me if there was such an event. But the Black Dragon mentioned it over and over. The problem is that only the Black Dragon was the only one who said so. Oreo, did you really deceive me? Oh, I want to play from the beginning. What about the dancing incident? Get out of my sight immediately. A soldier stormed in and ran in. What is happening over there? Hanbit looked at him calmly. Everything is over. Hanbit's face carried a thoughtful look, closing his eyes slightly and shifting to a cut scene. Julio's two hands were tied tightly with rope, crying and wailing. I really didn't do anything wrong. I am completely innocent. Julio reached out and grabbed the iron bars, his mouth wide open in despair. Hanbit watched him with a cold gaze. He suddenly remembered the time he stood his ground when surrounded by many spears. Everything was definitely different from back then. Perhaps this is the difference between a game and a true parallel world. In that place, I had to overcome corrupt guards to deliver Oreo to a reliable person. After that, Hanbit rested his 2 hands on his knees, sighing in relief. He turned his eyes to look at the system board. The screen showed a series of notification letters. Quest completed. The next quest will be unlocked when you move to Oxbell's grocery store. Reward awarded. 500 gold. A series of messages scroll by. Please give me a reset event. That was truly a trap. Let me play again. Any kind souls willing to spare me some pocket change? Hanbit began to sink into thought. Everything happened as if it had been arranged for this turning point. Can I see this simply as a coincidence? At this moment, Yunwoo widened his eyes in surprise and shouted at him. Brother, boss. At this moment, his brows raised slightly, continuously questioning. What is this? How did you know it beforehand? Hanbit broke into a cold sweat, not knowing how to explain. Damn it. Now what to say to escape this situation? He used his hand to stroke his chin in contemplation. If I told the truth, he wouldn't believe it anyway, so I'll just make something up for now. Not long after, Hanbit turned his face away, smiling confidently and explaining. I used to be a crazy fan of these kind of fantasy novels. The plot just now was exactly like an old book that stopped publishing that I read a long time ago, so I just guessed. Maybe the author of that book is the one who wrote the script for this game. It's strangely similar. Yunwoo clapped his hands, agreeing with his words without any suspicion. So you're a true bookworm? No wonder. Hanbit's mouth twisted, feeling lucky in his heart. Did he really believe it? Luckily, when I was in the army, I spent all day chatting about sci-fi novels. Suddenly, the icon shaped like him rang. Nunkim 10,001. Yunwoo squinted his eyes, pretending to be enthusiastically grateful. Thanks for the 10,001 support. My friend is amazing, right? He has a suspicious instinct and great reasoning ability. Look at that fire punch. Even if Oreo wasn't the culprit, he would force him to plead guilty anyway. Lines of comments scrolled up again. Anyway, he proved it. Congratulations. From now on, I will never badmouth you again. Honestly speaking, looking at his face, he already looks like a criminal. Hanbit put his hands behind his back and wondered, do live streams usually go like this? His eyes turned toward Yunwoo, pondering. Anyway, just let Yunwoo handle it. I'll just focus on doing what I'm good at. Outside, the soft sunlight gently spread across the clear sky. Going in this direction will find the store, right? Yunwoo walked while putting both hands behind his head and shared. Truly, I didn't know it all. Unexpectedly, Oxbell is an NPC with such a connection. The forums today will definitely explode. Hanbit calmly called out back. Didn't they say that if caught, she would disappear forever from the map? He suddenly froze, falling into his own silence. Like how I just imprisoned him, surely others have done the same to Oxbell. Hanbit's gaze fell upon the 2-story house. It was hard to believe that such an important NPC was treated like a petty thief by most players. If Oxbell ever found out, she would surely be frustrated by the sheer unfairness of it all. He firmly thought, to me, she really is the image of Oxbell appearing in Hanbit's mind. Work? Why are you coming to see me to ask about that? Get lost and stay out of my sight. She continued, showing no sign of patience. If you're already here, don't just stand there like a statue. At least help me load some cargo. Don't even dream about loafing around here. Oxbell jumped up, turning around to leave. Hey, look at the state of you. What on earth have you been doing? I told you to be careful. If you get hurt, you're the only one who loses out. She held out a red book adorned with a glowing red stone. Use your free time to study magic. Do you plan on just carrying wooden crates for the rest of your life? Oxbell then fell into silence, facing the cold iron bars. She stood perfectly still, her tone turning serious as she gave an order. Keep your head held high for me. Yunwoo smiled gently to reassure him. I know full well that it wasn't your fault, understood? Stop talking nonsense and just stand there and wait, because there's no way I'm letting that cowardly jerk get away with it. Hanbit captured the scene of the prison cell being engulfed in flames deep in his eyes. After uttering those words, she was ultimately burned to death. He tightened his grip on the doorknob. This was a memory fragment that was both precious and painful to him. Hanbit said nothing, his expression deeply pensive. A moment later, he gently pushed the door open. Hanbit was stunned, unable to believe his own eyes. Oxbell was inside the house, bored, resting her chin on her hand. She darted her eyes toward the source of the noise. She was blankly surprised to see Hanbit standing before her. "What do you want? I've never seen your face before." She leaned forward and voiced her curiosity. "Did you come looking for me because you already know exactly who I am?" Hanbit smiled gently, his tone tinged with teasing. "Seeing as you're a newbie, I'm sure this is the first time we've met, right? I came here because I genuinely want to learn magic from you." Oxbell slowly approached him. "Magic? You want to learn from me?" She put her hands on her hips and stared straight into Hanbit's eyes. "You're an interesting one, but why should I teach someone I just met?" The corners of his mouth curled up calculatingly. I knew for sure she would refuse. The solutions were already prepared thanks to what happened earlier. Streams of messages flashed by in a frenzy. Big sister, that's my wife. That guy just threw his own wife in a prison. Talk about pure malice." Oxbell watched Hanbit closely, hesitating before she spoke. "Wait, hold on a second." She pointed her finger at Hanbit and voiced her suspicion. "Ah, I recognize you now. You must be the Black Dragon, right?" Before Hanbit, Oxbell sighed wearily. "That's right. That old man Yulio clearly intended to frame you as a thief." She regained her calm composure, her lips curling into a helpless smile. "Such a nerve. He really is nothing more than trash. I knew he would cause some kind of trouble sooner or later." She closed her eyes slightly, raised a hand to brush her hair, and whispered her thanks. "Regardless, I have to thank you." She happily held out her hand to Hanbit and continued. "If it weren't for you, I would have been stuck in a terrible mess." He took Oxbell's hand and replied courteously, "Don't worry about it. I don't like that guy much either." She moved closer to Hanbit and whispered, "I mean, just looking at his face is enough to know who would ever trust someone like that." He agreed wholeheartedly with her words. The word scammer was practically written all over his face. The messages in the chat agreed as well. Yulio just suffered an unexpected defeat. Not that it's any surprise. It was just a matter of time. She briefly regained her serious look, resting her hands on the table to probe further. "So, you're saying you're looking for a magic book? But let's hold off on that for a moment." Oxbell raised an eyebrow, her face revealing her confusion. Hanbit crossed his arms and calmly posed a question. "Are you really looking for a cure for an illness?" Oxbell was flustered, hesitating as she probed. "How did you know about that?" He turned his eyes toward the papers on the table to answer. "Just glancing at the things on your table is enough to understand." Oxbell was stunned by Hanbit's offer. "I will give you a hand." Her entire demeanor sank, and she bit her lip hard. Oxbell looked straight into Hanbit's eyes and asked, "Are you truly that knowledgeable about medicine?" He replied with full confidence, "I know much more than just a little." She sounded somewhat sarcastic at Hanbit's certainty. "Pretty confident, aren't you? Fine then." Suddenly, an image of her own strange eyes popped into her head. "Do you know of any illness that causes pupils to turn blue, accompanied by symptoms of dizziness and vomiting?" Hanbit answered frankly, "I don't know the exact name of that disease." He silently guessed. "I figured as much." Oxbell's whole body trembled, her hands clenching tightly, filled with rage. "Do you have any idea how many times I've been deceived?" She imagined herself being grabbed by countless strange hands. Those people who called themselves experts were all cut from the same cloth. "I've wasted so much time and money on their misdiagnoses just to line their pockets." Oxbell's eyes shone with lingering disappointment. "I can't even remember how many times hope has turned into poison." Suddenly, Hanbit spoke up, cutting off her train of thought. "Recovery potions and healing magic have absolutely no effect, right? And the patient themselves doesn't feel any hunger at all." Oxbell excitedly reached her trembling hands toward him. "Do you actually know what this terrible disease is?" Hanbit took her arm and said, "It doesn't have a name. I simply know how to treat it." Oxbell grabbed his clothes tightly and shouted in astonishment. "What? You actually hold the method to save her?" She looked at Hanbit with pleading eyes. Please, I beg you to save her. I will surely reward you handsomely. He smiled gently and affirmed. Trust me, I will definitely bring the medicine back for you. Suddenly, the system window appeared. Quest. You have discovered Oxbel's secret worry. Find a way to cure the illness her mother is suffering from. Goal. Collect the correct medicine in the area around Edlin. Reward. 2,000 gold. Oxbel's hero-grade Fireball spellbook, 3 stat points, 500 experience. A stream of comments filled with surprise flashed by. Hero grade? You get a hero grade item just for this? That's insane. Yulio, you absolute jerk. Yunwoo asked, looking bewildered. Buddy, where on earth are we supposed to go now? Hanbit put his hands on his hips and answered leisurely. As for that, suddenly, a sharp, intense pain struck his chest, clutching his heart tight. Seeing this, Yunwoo panicked. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Hanbit's body gradually became blurry. He responded vaguely, My mom is here. In a flash, Yunwoo was left all alone on the path. He stood there blankly, still not understanding what had just happened. After a long while, Yunwoo finally regained his senses and shouted. Buddy Hanbit, sweating profusely and trying to act as normal as possible, Hanbit spoke up. Mom, I'm home. I'm just busy handling something very important. Si-yeon watched him, looking deeply gloomy. She flared up in anger, hitting Hanbit hard a few times. You brat, why did you dare to lock your room door? Mom, I'm sorry. He stood there, enduring the hits while constantly yelling. I've never done this before. Hanbit pointed his index finger at the black machine to justify himself. You know, right? My friend gave me a gift to celebrate my discharge, so I'm just trying out. He gestured frantically as he continued. He said we should play games together since I just finished my military service. Si-yeon questioned. Is that what they call a recording or something? Hanbit smiled awkwardly and carried the bag. How did you know about it? She turned around and demanded. Take off that backpack so I can put away for you. It's on the news all the time. Just don't stare at it for too long, that's all. Hanbit raised an eyebrow and explained. I'm only planning on playing for a bit during my free time. Besides, I start my internship tomorrow anyway. Si-yeon looked at him in surprise and asked, An internship? Did you really decide to do that? Hanbit replied desperately. I have at least 1 line of experience on my resume. He hadn't finished his sentence when Si-yeon hit him repeatedly. Look at you, always doing things on your own without telling me a word. She raised her hand high, preparing to strike another blow. Why on earth would you do that? At this moment, Hanbit quickly used his arm to block it. I blocked it, see? Before long, he was hit straight in the face by Si-yeon. Blocked what exactly? She shouted angrily. What kind of parent would urge their kid to find a job right after they just got out of the military? On top of that, the job starts tomorrow. Hanbit thought to himself while holding his eye. This is even tougher than facing a martial arts master. His face flushed red as he explained. Well, next semester is my final one before graduation. I need to find a job quick. Si-yeon sighed wearily. She then walked away, calling back to him. You said that company is in Congo? Then you'll have to wake up early. Si-yeon advised him anxiously. No matter how busy you are, you're not allowed to skip breakfast. Don't think I don't know you skipped a meal today, too. Hanbit replied shyly. Because Yunwoo bought me ice cream. Are you trying to use that as an excuse again? She whirled around and shouted. Hanbit hurriedly spoke up. I'll go back to my room now. Have a nice time, Mom. He slumped onto his bed and let out a sigh. Seriously, Mom is so stubborn. Hanbit looked at the clock on the wall. Oh, right. I'm live streaming. Anyway, tomorrow is my first day of work. I should sleep early. I feel so bad for Yunwoo now. He jumped in surprise as a barrage of comments appeared like wildfire. Hello, I just stopped by. After hearing all the rumors, is this the explosive moment? Is this for real? Oxbel is my wife. The game developers need to give us compensation. Give us the guide already. What the hell? What's going on? Is this that famous stream? There's really nobody here. I knew that Yulio guy had a problem. A new post with many views appeared. Hidden skills and hero-grade quests have just appeared. An anonymous person expressed ridicule through the post. A delusional newbie has appeared. This guy's a total system bug. He possesses dozens of suggested skills, and even a few hidden ones. The quest that guarantees a hero reward is the path to receiving Oxbel's fire magic. Take a look at the screenshot. The screen image displaying the reward was posted. Reward: Hero Grade Fireball Spellbook, 2,000 gold, 3 stat points, 500 experience. The person added a suggestion: if anyone is curious, go watch Loper's stream, it's hilarious. Jaha scrolled through each comment, feeling displeased. This isn't funny at all. He leaned back, his eyes still glued to his tablet. Who would believe a scam like that? Jaha raised his eyebrows in confusion, thinking, why is there such a massive commotion over a single hidden skill activation? He looked at the post and mocked it. These streamers are willing to do anything to promote themselves. Jaha lazily put his feet on the table. Even when I search, I only see monster names popping up. He squinted slightly, determined in his heart. Looks like I'll have to verify the authenticity of this news myself. A dark, black screen showed nothing at all. Yunwoo rolled his eyes, his 2 index fingers poking at each other. He hesitated before speaking. That's exactly what I wanted to say. A barrage of noisy messages flashed by. What? What is he doing? If you look at that info, what on earth is Loper? Fight, fight! Is this a trap? Yunwoo tried to calm the situation down awkwardly. First of all, I invite everyone to please calm down. 2 comments filled with skepticism appeared. How old is your friend? If he's that obsessed with his mother, is he actually in middle school? He broke into a cold sweat and replied with a forced smile. Black Dragon, we both served in the military, and he's also a filial son to his mother. To be clear, I'm the senior here. Yunwoo suddenly glanced to the side. He jumped in shock when he saw the viewership number skyrocketing. Yunwoo bit his finger, stammering as he asked, why are the viewers increasing so drastically? A request comment scrolled by. Please dance to the girl group song, please. Where did Black Dragon disappear to? He kept expressing his confusion. What on earth is happening? Yunwoo's mouth twisted at the amount of information he just received. What? Is there a post about us on the RPG forum just now? Teasing messages popped up. His brain just froze. That's hilarious. He thought to himself. Black Dragon. Instead, I will leave you all with a clue. Suddenly, Yunwoo's system screen popped up a message. From Black Dragon. Sorry for leaving early. Tomorrow is my first day of work, so I have to stop here. He pouted, his face showing clear concern. Other characters appeared on the screen. From Black Dragon. In return, I will give everyone a hint. Yunwoo fell into deep thought, touching the system. He then turned back to interact with a forced smile. Well, dear ladies and gentlemen, since my partner cannot stay due to personal reasons, he has left a gift behind. I wonder if I should reveal this. Countless curious comments flashed by. What is it? Show us. Push out fast. Please show us. I'm about to die of curiosity. Show us right now. Another message was sent from Black Dragon. It's right here. The soft sunlight brushed over the high-rise buildings, covering the city in warmth. Hanbit held his phone and muttered a well-wish. Do your best at work. Afterward, he looked up at the building in front of him. The sign Kang Han, hanging on the door of the room, appeared. On technology, floor B. Hanbit awkwardly poked his head in and greeted. Hello. I'm a new employee starting work today. He stared blankly at the chaotic scene inside. Kang Ham and The group of people rushed back and forth, shouting tensely. Who broke into the lab on their own yesterday? The modifications haven't been applied yet. Check it immediately. He suddenly turned his eyes toward Hanbit. Jaha placed a file on his shoulder and grumbled. What? The intern is arriving today? How is the HR department running things? One person immediately retorted. I already told you guys yesterday. His eyes narrowed uncomfortably, and he clicked his tongue. Haley Miho, take the intern to prepare a workspace. Miho hurriedly stood up and replied. Yes, boss. He walked over to Hanbit and introduced himself. My name is Lee Miho. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Afterward, Miho brushed past him and suggested, put your bag down and follow me. I'll show you your seat, and we'll look over the employment contract later. Jaha gestured toward the whiteboard and demanded, can you help me wipe the whiteboard clean for now? Hanbit agreed immediately. Yes, I'll do it right away. He picked up the eraser and gently wiped away the words. Sungbin pushed the door open, holding a glass of water. What the hell? Why are there 2 people here today? He rolled his eyes toward Hanbit and asked, and who are you? Miho bowed his head and explained slowly. Good morning, team leader. This is the intern I reported to you about a few days ago. He awkwardly spoke up. Hello. As quick as a flash, Hanbit bowed 90 degrees before Sungbin. I look forward to learning a lot during this internship. He brushed past Hanbit carelessly, leaving a reminder. No need to put in too much effort. Just do as you're told, that's all. Sungbin stopped and turned his eyes toward him. If you're done cleaning, you can head out. Hearing that, Hanbit opened the door and left the room. He sighed a long, weary sigh and thought to himself, I can already foresee the future of this company. I guess it's better for me to focus on self-studying whatever I can while I'm here. Regardless, it's still better than having to struggle in that other world. Hanbit's blurry feet gradually became clear. He tiredly rubbed his neck and spoke. I'm back. Sorry for missing all your messages. My first day of work was truly chaotic. Yunwoo looked at Hanbit with eyes filled with starlight. It's all right. He shivered at Yunwoo's expression. What's with that look? He raised his lips and asked in a dainty voice. What's wrong with my face? Hanbit commented. It looks like you're about to faint. His eyes widened after hearing the information from Yunwoo. We hit the jackpot. Look at the number of viewers. It's already exceeded 5,000. He joyfully nudged Hanbit and interacted with the audience. Dear everyone, we are now officially starting the quest. He put his hands on his hips and glanced at Yunwoo, questioning. Has anyone succeeded yet? He put his thumb up excitedly and said, No one has been able to do that yet. A stream of comments appeared. Is he laughing? He looks too happy. Hurry and show us. Is this even possible? If this is a lie, you know what the consequences are, right? Hanbit tilted his head, teasing. You guys really lack imagination. Messages of speculation ran by. He's agitated, he's shaking. He curled his lips and continued. You guys need to use a little more creativity. A series of words appeared. It seems you've forgotten what my personality is like. I'm only holding back because I need a detailed guide. Hanbit faced forward with a confident demeanor. All right, I'll demonstrate it myself. Everyone try to keep up. First, head to the main city gate. Yunwoo walked while feeling suspicious. Are you sure you're really a beginner? You still owe us an explanation. He explained awkwardly. I already told you before. I've read a lot of fantasy novels. Hanbit stopped and waved his hand. I just thought that in a game with such high freedom, anything could happen. Suddenly, an annoyed voice reached his ears. Hey, I assure you all that's nonsense. Just trust him for a moment. We're just killing time anyway. Hanbit observed the crowd in front of him in confusion. What's going on? Why is everyone gathering here? Yunwoo speculated. I think they're the people who read the post on the community forum. A loud notification caught Hanbit's eye. It's the Vanguard team. The Vanguard has arrived. He raised his eyebrows and repeated in his head unconsciously. The Vanguard. At this moment, the people of the Vanguard team marched forward aggressively. A series of comments flashed by as Taemin's group appeared. Oh my, are they really the Vanguard? I didn't expect the Vanguard to come here in person. The situation seems to be getting huge. There's even an archer in the formation. Is the person in the middle really an archer? Looking at that bow, it seems it really is them. Could they have traveled all this way just for a quest? The reward is a hero-grade item, so the effort is worth it. Yunwoo leaned closer to Hanbit and whispered, Oh my god, it's the real Vanguard. It seems the news you discovered has spread further than we thought. His eyes never left Taemin's group, wondering, But what on earth is the Vanguard? Yunwoo asked back, You definitely don't know about this, do you? He observed Taemin with his blonde hair and whispered to himself, That's right. You're a beginner after all. Then Yunwoo turned to the archer and the brown-haired girl to explain. Players ranked in the top 10,000 are called the Vanguard. Afterward, he glanced at the other two members and continued. They rank players by converting levels, proficiency, and story progression into scores. Hanbit heard this and poured out a series of questions. Out of the 3 million players worldwide, only a mere 10,000 belong to this group. And in Korea, there are only 500. And those people haven't learned magic yet? Looking closely, there seems to be someone who looks like a mage. Yunwoo tilted his head and explained. Most of them skip it because farming proficiency is too exhausting and they prioritize strength growth first. People usually wear mage avatars just because they look beautiful. His eyes fell on the golden bird bow behind the archer. That bow is... An image of it popped into Hanbit's mind. That's the golden bird bow. I still remember it clearly. It's the work of a quite talented artisan. He stood in the crowd and asked in a low voice. Could it be that even those people failed to complete Oxbel's quest? Yunwu shared the information he knew with Hanbit. Most members of the Vanguard belong to large corporations. He exclaimed in surprise. Corporations? Yunwu imagined countless hands reaching toward the light, indicating they received full support from the company to complete their RP roles. Even without counting the game ownership, which is currently controversial, the roleplay session must bring in very high profits. Suddenly, a finger poked Hambit's shoulder. Excuse me, sorry to bother you. Naon seemed to recognize him and leaned in to ask. You're Black Dragon, right? Are you live streaming? When are you going to show us the quest completion scene? Hambit answered blankly. I'm planning to start right now, but Du suddenly interrupted and asserted. Hey, I already said all that was just a scam. Naon frowned and argued back. Why won't you just trust me for once instead of making such a fuss? He shouted in frustration. You idiot, last time you trusted a con artist and got stripped of everything, left with nothing but your underwear. Naon yelled back angrily. You jerk, shut your mouth. Hambit put his hands on his hips and suggested. First, let's head towards the ocean. Yunwu asked in confusion. Aren't bomb slimes found in the forest on the other side? Hambit turned his head, the corner of his mouth curling up as he explained. I need a fishing rod to craft the antidote. A string of text scrolled across the top of his head. A fishing rod? Confused comments started appearing. Why do we suddenly need life skills? This is so unexpected. But the hint mentioned bomb slimes. Do we actually need fish as well? This is truly beyond imagination. I don't even have a single clue. Yunwu looked up as a series of coins appeared above his head. The price of fish along the Edlin coast is skyrocketing. Damn it. Lines of contemptuous text appeared. What a bunch of price manipulators. They must be watching Loper's stream and acting in real time. It's hilarious. Disgusting. Absolutely terrible. Hanbit rested his chin on his hand and grinned. These people don't understand anything. Yunwu turned to him in confusion and asked, Why on earth do we need a fishing rod? Are the ingredients for the medicine under the ocean? Hanbit raised one hand, answering vaguely. Well, who knows? Yunwu cried, hugging his leg and screaming. This isn't all a lie, right? If it's a lie, my streaming career is finished. Hanbit dropped his jaw at his behavior. It'll be fine. A series of doubtful messages scrolled by. Could this be a hilarious joke? Loper controversy. The fastest path to Loper's downfall. He reached his hand out toward Yunwu and said calmly, Trust me. First, I need a fishing rod, so lend me 70,000 gold. He followed Hanbit with a face as naive as a deer. Look at that preparation. It's hilarious. The sky gradually turned orange, and the crowd looked at each other noisily. Hanbit stood on the bridge, raising an eyebrow as he observed the distance. Why do I feel like the number of people is increasing? He brought his hand to his forehead and spoke leisurely. I'll pay that gold back soon, so relax your face. Yunwu turned his head away helplessly and replied, Because we have no clue what you intend to do with the fishing rod. You don't need to pay that money back. Oh, there he is. The back of the old man fishing came into the audience's view. That's he. If you fish next to him, your internal intimacy will increase. It seems he's set to be hard of hearing. Hanbit had approached him, bending over to greet him. Hello, old man. He smiled gently and held up the fishing rod in his hand. I want to buy this fishing rod. Old man, he slowly turned his head, curious. Did an accident happen? Hanbit leaned in close to his ear and said mischievously, Grandpa, I know you can hear everything. I'll give you 50,000 gold. A comment full of helplessness appeared. Black Dragon, even in a game, you should know how to respect your elders. He lowered his head, lost in thought. Then, he coldly stated his desired price. Don't even think about it. 100,000 gold. A series of confused messages popped up. That old man. Hanbit ignored his words and raised his hand to settle the price. Then let's settle at 60,000 gold. He thought to himself, this old man is still the same as ever. Old man, he shouted unhappily. 60,000 gold is lower than the cost price. You little brat, it has to be 90,000 gold. Hanbit lowered the price again. Then just take 50,000 gold. Old man, he was frustrated by his cunning. Are you trying to scam an old man? You cursed little demon. Hanbit thought happily. Hearing him curse reminds me of the days we went fishing together. Old man E's eyebrows twitched, and he waved his hand, accepting. You cunning little brat, you're really smart. All right, do whatever you want. He held the fishing rod and shouted excitedly. Thank you, old man. Teasing comments filled with surprise appeared. You trash. Black Dragon really knows how to respect his elders. Did you just swindle 1,000 gold from Loper's hands? Old man, he saw Hambit's action. Forget it. Just take it and leave now. Yunwu closed his eyes and commented. I feel like live streaming is your instinct. He asked back in confusion. What? Yunwu followed Hambit's every move and continued. Starting from the fact that you said you'd show us something in an area full of bomb slimes with a fishing rod. Comments scroll by. He really has the qualities of a clown. I'll show you guys something. Now, while fishing with Loper using this rod, he excitedly raised his index finger and suggested, let's try a role-play session. Yunwu narrowed his eyes in response. I don't know what that is, but I hate it. Countless laughing messages appeared. RP, the RP stream is ruined. A line of text filled with curiosity appeared. I'm a newbie too. So what kind of monster is a bomb slime? Yunwu pointed toward a bomb slime and explained. Bomb slimes are extremely sensitive, so if you touch them, then a huge explosion engulfed him. Then Yunwu threw a stone at the bomb slime. They will explode. He dropped his jaw in terror at its destructive power. Yunwu stood far away, carefully observing the bomb slime. Even if you just run into them, he stared blankly at the scene before him. They just explode like that. Yunwu and Hanbit both looked into the distance at the same time. And when they explode, they don't drop any items. It's truly a piece of garbage. How can you deal with a useless lump like that with a fishing rod? Only he would know how to do that. He took a step forward. Hanbit knelt down and used the fishing rod to get closer to the bomb slime. Found it. This height is perfect. Hanbit started spinning the fishing rod, silently calculating. The sensitivity of the fishing rod in the game is slightly different from reality. I need to get used to it. Countless bomb slimes came into his view. Yunwu suddenly turned his head to call him. Buddy, he provided information in a panic. There are people following us. The system screen displayed a message. There are a few shameless people sneaking behind our backs. Hanbit narrowed his eyes slightly, lost in thought. I knew it. He briefly heard a strange noise in the nearby bushes. They've been keeping their distance and tailing us since we left the city. Yunwu imagined countless eyes stalking his back, and it wasn't just one group, but several different ones. He pointed toward the blue screen and asked, Can you help me open the screen settings window? Hanbit replied immediately. Here it is. The corner of Yunwu's mouth curled into a dangerous smile as he explained. Everyone, I am very sorry, but then the system interface gradually changed. Just a little bit. He raised an eyebrow, his tone filled with mystery. There will be a short interface adjustment. A series of comments full of question marks ran by. What? Hanbit asked himself, amused. Why don't we tease them a little? Yong Haiyan admitted a truth. I've been passionate about fantasy worlds since I was very small, almost etched into my soul. He couldn't share it with anyone, but while on active duty, no one in the unit shared that strange hobby with him. Yong Haiyan felt this life was too boring. To kill time and dispel the boredom, I read the old book over and over again until the pages were worn thin. He had been looking forward to this day for a long time, until a rookie joined our unit. Yong Haiyan kept trying to talk to the soldier. Hey rookie, have you ever read this novel? He pointed to a page in the book. I have read it. I was particularly impressed with this part and found it very interesting. He was attracted by the interpretation. Even though I had pored over that book dozens of times, that rookie soldier still pointed out fascinating details I had never noticed before. Yong Haiyan finally dared to speak up. Do you know? His eyes were overflowing with admiration. You are truly excellent. It feels as if you have personally set foot in the world and the story. Yong Haiyan regained his inherent confidence. Time flew by. Let's experience a world more real than reality. As soon as I saw the ad for that roleplay game after being discharged, I immediately understood. He longed to cooperate with Hanbit. If I could play with that guy, I would certainly create an unprecedented legend. Yunwu whispered to him. Right now, only my screen is being broadcast. Hanbit still stared ahead. I know, he thought to himself. For now, let's just pretend we're focusing on dealing with the slimes. He greeted the viewers with a smile. All right, while Black Dragon is adjusting the screen, everyone remember to follow the Loper channel. But it seemed like everyone was watching because of Hanbit. Move aside. What on earth is Black Dragon doing? If you don't move your head, I'm going to unfollow right now. He knew that feeling better than anyone. Just watching from Yun Wu's perspective is frustrating, isn't it? Hanbit had realized it early on from his reaction. Perhaps he was also worried that other rivals would soon catch up to him. He didn't need to look behind him to guess the situation. The tense stare down between the groups, tailing us, surely wouldn't last much longer. If this tense and uneasy situation continues forever. The sound of slow footsteps stepped on grass. Hanbit turned his head to confirm who was coming. He was too familiar with reckless cases where there would inevitably be a few impatient people who acted rashly. Hanbit raised his hand to touch the live stream screen. Everyone was surprised by his appearance. The screen is showing again. Why are they greeting each other suddenly? It's so abrupt. Hanbit gripped the fishing rod in his hand. He decisively swung the hook down onto the bomb slime. Hanbit always considered things carefully before acting. The reason he bought this fishing rod from Old Man, it was for this exact purpose. He analyzed the details of its application. This hook has a special point. First, the hook is extremely sharp, making the slimes not even know or react at all. Hanbit did it carefully, step by step. And when you press this button like this, he knew the process like the back of his hand. Sharp barbs would immediately shoot out from the tip of the hook. Hanbit didn't have to confront them directly, but could still resolve the bomb slimes. That way I can completely control the explosions. He shifted his gaze further away, and then the slimes caught in the explosion will suddenly fall to the ground like a harmless lump of jelly. Two players panicked when they saw bomb slimes under their feet. Jeha hurriedly reminded his teammates. Avoid them. Damn it, retreat immediately. The tree canopy shaking violently caught his attention. Jeha didn't expect there to be so many. The slimes are falling. Run away. Everyone disperse. A bomb slime accidentally fell in front of him. Damn it. Hanbit carried the fishing rod on his shoulder, while Yun Wu covered his ears for fear of it exploding. He was proud of the processing just now. That's it for the slimes. The viewers couldn't believe their eyes. Is this guy really crazy? Turns out he separated the normal audience from the slimes incorrectly. The greeting just now was truly accurate. Exposing yourself. Hanbit still had work left to do. Now let's get to the main business. But the comments were full of questions. Didn't all the slimes explode already? The sharp-eyed viewers noticed the anomaly. What is this one? Its color is completely different. The slime was pierced by his hook. Hanbit gently lifted it off the ground. The slime was thrown into a cloth bag by him. Hanbit showed off the harvest to the viewers. All right, the ingredients have been gathered. Everyone was competing to explain. Why is this one huge? It's a dud or a game bug. Looking at the color difference, there must be some hidden meaning. He quickly provided more useful information. Actually, it is a dud. If you destroy the entire swarm of slimes at once, there's a certain probability that the remaining ones will turn into dud slimes. Yun was curious about the method. Does this mean we just need to follow this way to complete the quest? If so, everyone will rush to copy it. Hanbit didn't think much about that. I'm just giving instructions so everyone can complete the quest. He looked at the dud slime in the bag and smiled triumphantly. However, the control manipulation won't be easy. Come on. Let's go to Oxbell's place. A sigh echoed in the late afternoon. Jeha broke out in a cold sweat after fleeing. That was a close call. Jeha is an employee in the roleplay department at a small-scale gold farm where he works. He noticed Hanbit's formidable ability. That player is Black Dragon. He is definitely not a normal newbie. Jeha believed he was not mediocre, but a true master. Behind him, there must be a giant corporation backing him, which his workplace couldn't compare to. He felt bewildered by Hanbit's unconventional choices, really unable to understand why he would cooperate with that small-time streamer. Jeha could only make a preliminary guess. Perhaps he was acting as bait to attract attention, hiding what the Vanguard had found. He had no time to think nonsense. Regardless, let's complete Oxbell's quest first. Jeha reminded himself to try harder. Just completing this quest alone was enough for him to meet this month's performance target. It seems he wasn't destined for roleplay games. However, Kim Jeha had failed. Oxbell was already disgusted. What on earth did you bring me? She couldn't understand Hanbit's thoughts. You dare bring this disgusting thing and call it medicine? Viewers who didn't know the truth commented like experts. Is this poison? It must be. He was still skeptical of her assessment. Is it really that bad? She could only sigh, unable to do anything else. Oxbell didn't want to see him anymore. I will compensate you for the Julio matter with money. Now get lost. Hanbit immediately teased her. It seems you aren't that desperate either. That meaningful remark made Oxbell tremble with anger. She shouted loudly in anger. How dare you speak such nonsense when you know nothing? Before she could react, she was fed a bunch of dud slimes by him. She didn't doubt it and swallowed them habitually. Oxbell was startled by Hanbit's suspicious action. Yunwoo felt he was useless. Truly a good-for-nothing. Everyone joined in to tease him. Loper's expression looks very honest. Just looking into her eyes, you know she's thinking trash. Black Dragon is truly a tough guy. Now she realized the problem. Did you just force me to drink that? Oxbell covered her mouth tightly to avoid vomiting. Hanbit knew this would happen. The effect came very quickly. Yunwoo couldn't help but worry. She's vomiting continuously. The bathroom door in her house suddenly swung open. Oxbell angrily scolded him severely. You jerk! What on earth do you think you're doing? She was annoyed, but couldn't do anything. Hanbit is really strange. Hanbit still smiled brightly. It seemed something like a seed just shot out. Right, he fed Oxbell the dud slime with good intentions. That is the cause of the illness. Hanbit made an accurate judgment through observation. That was truly the root of the illness that both she and her mother were suffering from. Oxbell didn't understand his meaning. What? Hanbit had tried his best to help her. I'm being very serious. What you just vomited out is the root of all problems. He is indeed a perceptive person. You yourself aren't feeling well either, right? I realized it as soon as I saw you. Hanbit understood her heart. Perhaps all this time, she had to endure the pain alone for fear that her mother would worry more. There was nothing he couldn't investigate, and he also feared that scum like Julio would use that to threaten him. She wanted Hanbit to answer her questions. How can you know these things? Hanbit only thought to himself. Knowing the reason she did that, I couldn't utter words calling her foolish. He was well informed about poisons. What she swallowed was actually a type of parasitic seed that grew in the southern region. It stuck tightly to the stomach wall and started growing from the inside. Hanbit explained in detail for Oxbell to understand. There's a high chance you were infected by eating imported foods from that region, and the fluid of the bomb slime monster is the only thing that can separate it. Therefore, he had to go catch the dud slime. That is why we needed a bomb slime that had lost its ability to self-explode. Hanbit summarized its properties. When the explosive characteristic is gone, it only leaves behind mucus along with a toxin that stimulates the vomiting reflex. He knew exactly how great the danger was. Once that seed is vomited out, you will be completely cured right away. This wasn't a normal illness to begin with. Oxbell looked at the plate of dud slimes on the table. Just vomiting it out is enough. Hanbit was completely confident in his cure. After getting that thing out of your body, you won't need any medicine at all. He handed the healing task over to her. Old man, go check on your mother's health. Hanbit didn't dare to express it outwardly. Oxbell, even if this is just a world and a game, I especially cherish your appearance and personality. Her personality hasn't changed at all, because only Hanbit understood her better than anyone. This silly girl always cared about other people's pain more than her own. He was grateful when Oxbell stood up to protect him in front of bad people. Although her way of speaking was a bit rude, she had always been by his side supporting him. Hanbit prayed with the hope that it would come true. Oh, I truly hope that you will find happiness for yourself. The system updated the situation as it entered the cutscene. She decided to carry the plate of dud slimes to her mother. Mom, I brought you medicine. Oxbell followed his instructions. Mom, just take a small sip, okay? She helped her mother sit up before scooping up a spoonful of the liquid. Oxbell carefully observed her mother's expression. She didn't take her eyes off her mother, even for a sec. Oxbell was surprised by the somewhat scary result. Mom vomited. The giant seeds continuously flowed out just like that. It's unbelievable. I never expected I had been deceived out of so much money by those quack doctors. I must deal with those bad people. They are finished. I definitely won't let them escape easily like that. The comments were all extremely amazed. Turns out she can also smile so radiantly like that. I thought a smile wasn't programmed into her NPC script at all. That's because you guys kept throwing her into the prison repeatedly. Hanbit was overjoyed. It had been such a long time since he'd seen her smile. Oxbell was so moved that he shed a tear. "I am incredibly grateful to you both." People flooded the broadcast to catch a glimpse of her. "She's so beautiful. La, we did it. My wife. From today, she is officially my wife. This is what true love looks like." He touched the screen, aware of the noise from the viewers. What are these guys talking about? She was deeply grateful for their timely help. "If not for you two, both my mother and I would have lost our lives." She took down a precious book. "So, it is only fair that I reward you both, don't you think?" She placed it on the table as a token of thanks. "This is the skill book you've been searching for all this time." Hanbit happily accepted the book. "Thank you." She was being too formal with him again. "I'm the one who should be thanking you guys." Yunwoo was eager to touch it out of curiosity. "Brother, you really are the best. Can I touch it just once?" But he flatly refused. "Keep your hands off. This item belongs to me. Now, shall we head out for the next mission?" She kindly wanted to offer more items. "Where are you guys planning to go? I still have many things I want to give you." She brought a bag over for the two of them. "First, take this, and then this one as well." He hadn't expected this. Did it feel like she was giving a much larger reward than usual? The system sent a notification to Hanbit. First clear reward event is now active. It confirmed an increase in the reward amount. The payout had been adjusted to the maximum limit, increasing from 2,000 gold to 4,000 gold. He was rewarded by the system for completing the mission. Attribute points increased from 3 to 5, receiving an additional 2 attribute points. It continuously added 200s plus stats. The system continuously sent notifications that 5 levels have been gained. He received 5 additional attribute points from the level up. Even Hanbit was surprised by the generous reward. The grade of Oxbell's skill book had been upgraded. Mission item: Hero grade Oxbell's Fireball skill book. A fire attribute magic book once owned by Oxbell, upgraded from hero to unique grade. He couldn't help but be stunned in this moment. Hanbit stood there lost in thought. Oxbell felt pleased, so he thought this was fine. A sudden thought popped into his head the moment he saw the words "First Conquest." Yunwoo was stunned and amazed by the blinding light. Looking at the barrage of comments, a question suddenly arose. Can this thing be fixed? A moment later, he laughed with emotion. "Oh my god, I really didn't expect something like this to exist." Yunwoo walked over, bewildered, his mouth wide open. A unique grade magic book as a first clear reward? That's just amazing. Then, he lowered his voice to give a reminder. "Hey buddy, say something to the people watching the live stream." As soon as he finished, the live chat exploded, and Yunwoo nervously tried to calm them down. "Everyone, please stay calm, please. We really had no idea about this either. I swear." Watching the comments scrolling by endlessly, he sighed in frustration. "Oh man, what should I do now? The chat is moving too fast. I can't even read what they're writing." Just then, Oxbell stepped forward, startling him back to reality. "Here, take this as well." Hanbit reluctantly raised his hand to take the paper. "There are still more things to give. Now what?" The system screen popped up with a notification. Achievement completed. First to rescue Oxbell. Received Oxbell's recommendation letter and 1 attribute point. Shortly after, another letter was delivered. Oxbell smiled gently and explained, "This is a letter of recommendation for the blacksmith. Go there if you need new weapons." He heard this and repeated it with some suspicion. "Find a blacksmith?" Oxbell remembered their first meeting and asked back, "None of you have a decent weapon. Besides, your gear was completely destroyed after facing the exploding slimes, right?" Hanbit hurriedly tried to justify it. "That stench came from the exploding slimes, not from us, okay?" She put her hands on her hips and questioned him again. "You were the one who gave me that foul-smelling thing. You know it." Then Oxbell stood up straight, offered a radiant smile, and made a suggestion. "Anyway, thank you so much for these gifts. Feel free to come back here anytime you need support." The commoner saw this and didn't stop cheering. "She's seriously so beautiful. That person is my wife. Don't be shy. Let's start the game right now." The game officially begins. Facing the kind invitation, he couldn't help but answer softly, "Okay." A moment later, Hanbit looked at the map in front of him, his head aching. "Where should we start from now?" Yunwoo quickly answered, "There are no specific mandatory goals. Since this is an open world, we can go wherever we want." He started listing the game's advantages. Everyone's starting point at Edlin is the same, but after that, everyone is free. Maximum freedom is a major selling point of this game. However, it comes with its downsides. But you must be very careful, because if you wander carelessly, you might get stuck in high-level areas. Many people have suffered because they couldn't get out of those places. Finally, Yun Wu added naively, "Now that I think about it, this game is also famous for its character customization system. But why did you?" Seeing this, he avoided eye contact and thought to himself, even if I told him the reason was because of the goddess, he wouldn't be able to understand. Seeing that, he nudged his shoulder and teased him under Hanbit's speechless gaze. "Look at me. It looks quite like real life, but much more luxurious. It took me 5 hours to get like this." 5 hours? Are you a sculptor? As if remembering something, Yun Wu shouted suddenly. "You can also choose your gender. So remember that what you see might not be everything." The more he heard, the more his head hurt. "So, basically, I have to choose the next destination myself? Where would be the best place to start the first journey?" A sound suddenly came from the side, drawing Hanbit's attention. The screen displayed a prominent line of text. User Nitcase donated 50,000 won. "I want to see Oxbell get angrier." The chat group followed suit. "Agreed. Totally agree." Looking at the huge number, he murmured blankly, 50,000. Meanwhile, Yun Wu cheered happily. "Oh my god, Mr. Nitcase, 50,000. Thank you so much for this 50,000 won donation." Hearing that, Hanbit was startled and shouted, "So, I'll be getting 25,000? The screen displayed another notification. User Asuba donated 10,000 won. Following that was another supporter. Someone just donated 30,000 won. A unique tier item at level 1 is just 2 top tier. Finally, some big spender threw their weight around. User Famer donated 100,000 won. After all, the fire generation is still the best, right? He saw the amount and his eyes sparkled. 100,000 won? Is it really 100,000 won? Thank you so much. Yun Wu finished speaking and immediately turned to announce. Look at the number of viewers increasing crazily. It's already hit the 8,000 mark. The chat group also became very lively because of this. It's really exploding. My little slime channel. It was originally a hidden gem that only I knew about. I should have invested in this earlier. There are currently 8,164 people watching. Hanbit didn't answer, just narrowed his eyes in contemplation. Just by completing a single mission, he had attracted 8,000 people immediately. He only knew how to stammer shyly to express his appreciation. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your donations. A comment immediately popped up with a request. Show us a reaction worth 100,000 won. He nodded quickly to agree. A reaction? Of course I'll do it. Meanwhile, Hanbit was blankly calculating. The total donation amount received so far was about 500,000 won. His share would be 250,000 won. On the other side, Yun Wu was putting on a show for the viewers. And here is a gratitude dance to express my thanks. This made the chat screen laugh like crazy. He's actually dancing. My eyes hurt so much. People are starting to leave. He kept looking at his hands, calculating. This result was obtained just by completing one of Oxbell's missions. If this pace continues, perhaps I will earn a huge amount of money. Hanbit clenched his fist, feeling emotional in silence. Finally, I have the ability to repay my mother's kindness. Although those memories were blurred, he suddenly stopped and thought gloomily. The goddess had shown him the flow of time, in reality, to put pressure on him. In his head, a poster searching for this man appeared. Name, Kang Hanbit, 25 years old, male. Background, missing after enlisting in the military. Thinking of his mother's suffering, Hanbit thought mournfully. In that place, my mother had completely given up her own life just to search for me. So from now on, I will make her happy. Yun Wu's reminder immediately pulled him out of his thoughts. Hey buddy, try using that skill book. Everyone is waiting impatiently. Hanbit paused before answering. I understand. Then he gently touched the book cover. Immediately after, Hanbit was pulled into a virtual space. The system screen displayed, Unique Grade Fireball, Fire Attribute Attack Skill, incinerating everything with a fierce fire explosion. He raised an eyebrow thoughtfully and spoke. This thing is too overwhelming. It's no different from cheating. Thinking back, I had to go through so much hardship before. He leaned in enthusiastically to ask, What do you think? Isn't it great? That feeling of the skill usage method flowing into your head. Hanbit said without thinking. I don't think so. Those words quickly made the atmosphere freeze. He realized it then and hurriedly corrected his words. It's only just starting to sink in now. Maybe the connection was a bit slow. Yunwoo didn't think much and continued. Maybe because it's a unique grade skill, the reception process happens slower. Even so, strange questions arose in Hanbit's heart. I obviously learned it already. Could it be reflecting what I learned in the other world? The image of the goddess suddenly appeared in his head, making him blank out. So this was the meaning of the phrase, existing character, when I first started. His excited, urging voice suddenly rang out. Hurry up and use it. The audience is waiting anxiously. Hanbit scolded him, speechless. Yeah. I told you I know. Yunwoo pointed at the rock and requested. Try casting it at that rock over there. He immediately raised his hand, thinking in confusion. Focus all thoughts on the palm. Hanbit paused for a second, sighed softly. Then he exerted force to summon a flame. Fireball. The giant fireball tore through the wind, flying rapidly in the air. It carried incredible power as it rushed straight at the target, only to see the rock crushed to pieces by the fireball in the blink of an eye. Witnessing the explosion, he couldn't help but shout in surprise. Hanbit tilted his chin proudly when hearing Yunwoo's flattery. Buddy, it's seriously the best. He laughed and sighed. I didn't expect the power of the first rank to far exceed what I imagined. Hanbit suddenly went quiet, his eyes showing a dazed look of terror. His face turned pale, pupils constricted, and his eyes were filled with panic. The system appeared coldly to notify. Title 55 times scribed. New effect has been unlocked. Hanbit stammered with some suspicion. What? Just as he finished, a giant hand appeared above his head. The sense of oppression made Hanbit pale with fear. At this moment, the system screen displayed a line of information. 55 times scribed. Increases proficiency for all previously experienced skills extremely quickly based on actual experience level. Keyword unlocked. Spirit. Anger flared up, making him clench his teeth in indignation. His hand pressed against his knee, trembling continuously. Hanbit cursed angrily. That damn goddess. Hanbit could only let out a sigh of relief. He gripped his head in resentment, thinking, it turns out she had been following his every step. Yunwoo asked with some concern. Buddy, are you okay? Hanbit hurriedly reassured him. Don't worry, I'm fine. Inside, he added gloomily. Even if I explained, he wouldn't understand. Even so, Hanbit still found another reason. Because this is my first time casting high-level magic, so maybe my body is a bit overloaded. I'm curious to see what a normal rank move looks like. Can you show me? He pointed to his face naively to confirm. You want me to perform? Yunwoo panicked and dodged. Do I have to do it right now? He glanced at him with contempt. I'm just really curious. Finally, he had to accept. Fine, don't laugh after watching. Then Yunwoo quietly tried to calm himself down. He waved his hand strongly to summon his fireball. Fireball. Seeing the fireball that only existed for a split second, Hanbit raised his eyebrow in admiration. He hesitated before praising. Looks like it has its own unique charm, too. That attitude made Yunwoo panic. You can scold me to my face, it's fine. Hanbit added, speechless. But this spell looks a bit too small. He explained gloomily. Didn't I tell you clearly from the beginning? Grinding magic proficiency is a torture. Yet you reach the unique rank in just one go. Recalling the past, at that time the system had notified that player Loper had received a common grade fire skill book. The more Yunwoo talked, the more frustrated he felt. It's so unfair. It's completely unreasonable. He smirked and expressed slowly. I myself didn't expect things to happen this fast. The chat also mocked him. That move is usually just to light a campfire. I also used to wish to be a real mage. What a damn monster genius. Even so, Hanbit was calculating deep inside. The difference wasn't just in the unique rank, but the gap in proficiency level must also be terrible. He suddenly put on a serious face. You are completely misunderstanding the essence of magic. The chat also seemed confused. The way they do it doesn't look like using magic at all. He's starting to wash his mouth with that puberty syndrome tone again. Hanbit stood straight to explain. Magic isn't just pushing a button and casting a spell. Maybe because the book from, but the real problem lies in a much more basic aspect. He continuously poured out a stream. The essence of magic is actually mathematics. The incantation and coordination of mana flow need to be calculated meticulously down to every detail. It's not just the difference in rank, understand? The chat heard this and couldn't stop commenting. This guy talks a lot. This uncle's immersion is unbeatable. A newbie dares to act like an elder? Despite Yun Wu being stunned, Hanbit didn't stop talking. Although the unique skill is great, I won't be holding a staff for a while. The strength of magic is convenience, but for now, I don't intend to use it as a main skill. Finally, he couldn't help but speak up. Hey buddy. He glanced over suspiciously. What is it? Yun Wu's next words immediately made Hanbit freeze. You just created this character yesterday, right? Looking at his grimace, the chat group immediately mocked. Thanks for the lecture. It went in one ear and out the other. He's sinking into his own delusions of power. Too deep in character. I'm dying of laughter. Has a unique skill, but says he won't use it as a main move. Offer top-tier stuff and still complains. That vanity is deep in his bones. Lord Black Dragon. Hanbit's angry roar made him widen his eyes. You boring bunch. He was furious and prepared to charge in for a fight. What the hell do you know about the essence of magic? Even so, the chat still wasn't afraid. Were you a real mage in real life? Hanbit shouted petulantly. Then from now on, don't you dare hope to get a scrap of info about other missions. Yun Wu hurriedly covered his mouth to reassure him. Buddy, calm down. Just then, the chat screen suddenly popped up a notification. Viewer Eco1 donated 77,777 won. Calm down, great Archmage. That notification immediately made the two of them pause. Hanbit had someone pretending to advise him. Oh man, no need to do this. He also bowed his head and smiled shyly. We just exaggerated a bit to make the live stream more dramatic. Seeing that, the chat group couldn't help but mock. Look at the 180-degree turn in his attitude. Sure enough, financial therapy always brings the best results. He smiled with contempt, wondering, am I that crazy about money? Strange, the anger just flew away. Even so, Hanbit still raised his head to ask, do you all want to know where I'm going right now? Without waiting for the comments, he rubbed his chin and answered himself. Actually, I already set my sights on a location in advance. A moment later, Yun Wu looked at the house in front and asked softly, this place seems to be, he asked suspiciously, aren't you going to follow the main storyline? Hanbit didn't answer and just sank into his thoughts. It's been quite a while since I returned here. He sighed and said, let's leave that for later. Before that, I need to go collect a few more skills. Saying that, Hanbit pushed the door in front of him open. Inside the house was a man chopping something. The walls were covered with specimens. Yun Wu hugged his two arms, shaking as he commented, ugh, this place always gives me chills. He heard the sound and turned back to ask, what? Guests? The speaker was the archery NPC, Hunter Ricker. He didn't hesitate to immediately state his request. I came here to learn how to use a bow and arrow. Ricker didn't care at all, swinging his knife onto the cutting board. Is that so? He stepped over to ask back. Are you sure you're persistent enough? The chap became excited. The persistence-obsessed uncle has arrived. Almost time for my patience test. Just say no and he'll kick you out immediately. Hanbit rotated his wrist proudly and declared, I have plenty, both persistence and skills. Ricker let out a cold hum. Big talk. The test is very simple. The next second, the screen appeared. Ricker's challenge mission to be taught archery. You must pass his test. Reach the required score. Reward, 500 gold. Basic archery skill book, undefined grade. 1 potential point, 100 experience points. He turned to confirm. 30 shots. Bullseye is 10 points. Total score to pass is 200, right? He answered calmly. Exactly. He heard that and could only whisper a reprimand. Ugh, at least add a few points to agility. Like this, it's hard to pass. Hanbit disagreed and just said, that's fine. Then he picked up an arrow. Hanbit drew the bow, his arm taut like steel, eyes locked on the target. Then he relaxed his hand, and the arrow shot away. The arrow fell limply to the ground. Yun Wu was speechless and murmured, I told you to invest in agility, but you didn't listen. But Hanbit was not discouraged and said, it's okay, I've got the pattern now. The chat this time also jumped out to discuss. Turns out Black Dragon is just a normal person? No, his reflexes are actually terrible. So then, he could only go along with it. Fine, whatever, just do your best. But before he could say anything more, Yunwoo suddenly paused in surprise. On the target now, an arrow was pinned. He couldn't believe it and blurted out, "What the hell just happened?" Yunwoo stared at the target, opening his mouth to admire. That's crazy. At this moment, he was still drawing the bow, his arms already trembling. Seeing the arrow hit the bullseye again, he couldn't help but cheer. "Buddy, what kind of god are you? 1 shot 7 points, 2 shots 10 points. And in the remaining 26 shots, all 26 of them, the subsequent arrows consecutively stuck straight into the bullseye. The arrow carried the force, tearing through the air, plugging into the bullseye. They all landed dead center in the 10-point bullseye. After firing, Hanbit raised his hand high. He couldn't help but think arrogantly. Total score achieved, 287. That was the moment I accomplished the impossible for someone using only Tier 2 equipment. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, following the toss of gold coins, a sigh of boredom softly echoed. Liat caught the coin and muttered quietly, "So boring, this is so dull. Isn't there anything more interesting to play?" She clenched her fist and clicked her tongue. Those small-timers who can't even secure their own purses are a waste of effort. As she was speaking, Liat suddenly froze, looking at 2 figures at the door. She was a bit suspicious. Then Liat suddenly wore a mischievous smile. "What kind of idiots are walking right into my trap?" Yunwoo hummed a long tune, excitedly clutching the bag of items in his hands. That attitude made Hanbit only glance over with a speechless expression. Finally, he couldn't hold back and spoke up. "You're a bit too excited." He skipped back in response. "What can I do? I just can't stop smiling." Yunwoo was brimming with excitement as he turned to praise him. That performance, just now, was truly top tier. "Were you a master archer back in school?" Hanbit twitched his mouth to deny it. "No way," but he didn't care and shouted happily. "At this rate, we're about to be swimming in gold." Yunwoo recounted briefly. "It just so happens I placed a bet on the pole, and I brought back a big profit. No one could have expected your archery skills to be so supernatural. I think we should create more shocks like this from time to time." Hanbit reminded him helplessly. "Loper, the live stream is still broadcasting, you know." The comment section was also speechless and joined in. "That's right, I haven't gone to sleep yet." The saltiness of the comments was gradually increasing. Then, Yunwoo suddenly stopped and asked, "So where's our next stop?" He looked at his hands contemplatively and began to calculate. "I intend to go and gain more insight into swordsmanship." He asked naively, "Is that the agility skill?" Hanbit shrugged to explain. "That is a prerequisite if you want to learn swordsmanship." The comments section expressed clear surprise after hearing that. Does a skill like that really exist in this world? It's nothing more than useless trash. Seeing that, Yunwoo opened his eyes wide and exclaimed, "The speed skill is considered top-tier garbage because it has no practical value," but he didn't bother listening and bolted off. "Stop mumbling and follow me. I'm starting first." He had no choice but to give up and chase after him. "Hey, buddy, wait for me." A while later, Liao looked at them and spoke slowly. "There's a reason why everyone avoids the speed skill. And the reason is because..." She raised an eyebrow confidently and continued. "Compared to the actual effectiveness that speed brings, the difficulty of Leah's mission is unreasonably overwhelming." Yunwoo leaned in suspiciously to ask, "Are you sure you can pull this off?" Hanbit didn't answer, but stepped forward. He stopped seriously in front of Leah. Hanbit calmly made his request. "I came here to learn what you are best at." She judged him with interest. "You have a bit of charisma, don't you?" But after saying that, Leah suddenly disappeared. In an instant, the money bag had fallen into her hands. Leah vanished before the 2 of them could even realize it. She held the money bag up and commented arrogantly, "Your movements are still way too slow." Leah smiled provocatively and declared, "Consider this tuition fee as a gift for our first meeting." But looking at that indifferent demeanor, she was a bit suspicious. "Why are you so calm without any reaction?" Hanbit leaned against the wall calmly and ordered, "You've already received the tuition, right? Now, teach me that skill." He began to calculate in his heart. "Compared to the gold she stole from me throughout 55 regressions, this price is still dirt cheap." As such, Leah fell into deep thought. Then she suddenly frowned, wearing a cruel smile. "I really don't like that attitude of yours at all." "If it's like that then..." To the surprise of the 2, Lia quickly jumped away from that spot. The lesson officially begins. Try catching me if you have the ability. The system screen appeared accordingly. Mission: Lia, who promised to teach you a skill, has run away. Find her within the allotted time. Reward: Lia's Speed Handbook, undefined grade. 1 potential point, 100 experience points. Hambit's face darkened as he began to estimate. According to information from past experience, catching Lia once she has run away is impossible. Lia only allows the mission to be completed after having taken 25,000 gold through 5 lessons, each lasting 3 hours, totaling 15 hours. Meanwhile, Yunmu was standing there blankly, wondering, "Where's my money? My gold?" Looking at the timer in front of him, he fell into deep thought. Throughout that time, I cannot do other missions, and the clock will stop if I log out of the game. The viewers seeing that situation also hurriedly discussed. He really intends to complete the mission. What is he going to do now? Hambit laughed eerily and replied, "Need to ask? Obviously, I'm going to go catch Lia." He heard that and asked suspiciously, "What?" "I've said it before, no one has cleared this stage because no one can catch her empty-handed. Look at the chat. If you can't catch her yourself, just call someone who can do it." On the other side of the tavern, Oxbell's surprised voice rang out. "You want me to go find the girl, Lia?" She spoke judgmentally. "So happy to see you again. However, how could you know that Lia and I are family?" He gave a dry laugh and lied without hesitation. "A lie. That's a rumor that everyone in this hideout knows." As such, Oxbell could only sigh. "All right, I understand what you mean." At this moment, Yunwu snuck over to ask, "So, they're sisters?" Hambit rolled his eyes and replied, "That's right. I saw some graffiti near where Lia stands." Lie. The viewers were a bit surprised to see the subtitles debunking that statement. Is there really writing there? What did he just say? They immediately started discussing it excitedly. "I don't see any writing there at all. Does Black Dragon possess the eyes of a hawk or something like that? So that's the reason why his archer skills are." Seeing that, he warned seriously, "You guys should pay closer attention to your surroundings." Speaking to this point, Hambit wore an extremely seductive smile. "And from the beginning, if I hadn't put Oxbell in jail, everything wouldn't have gone so smoothly." That attitude immediately made the audience furious. Using the truth to attack us? How despicable. No matter how closely we look, we can never imitate him. Down with Julio. Oxbell suddenly turned her head back and reminded him uncomfortably, "Aren't you going? I thought you were in a rush to find Lia." Hearing that, he smiled awkwardly and replied, "That's right." Meanwhile, Lia was happily humming a long tune. She sang while teasing the cat in front of her. Lia grabbed the cat's 2 legs and laughed deviously. I bet by now they must have given up long ago. She was still immersed in her complacency. There is no way they can find me in this corner. Just then, Oxbell's dangerous voice rang out from behind. Seeing the person arrive, Lia panicked and shouted, "Big sister." Looking at the person arriving, she looked back and forth, bewildered, and stammered, "What? What is this? This is cheating. How can you bring her all the way here? You were the one who told me I could use any means necessary. And besides, I happen to know your sister. Lia, you and I need to have a little talk." "Wait a minute, sister. Actually, the thing is, I've told you how many times not to go pickpocketing other people. I've repeated over and over not to go stealing randomly. Do you want to fall into the hands of cruel people like Julio before you realize your mistakes? I know I was wrong. I'm sorry, sister. All right, that's enough. Finish up here and head back to the shop for me immediately. If I catch you wandering around anywhere else, you'll see what happens." "Understood. I understand, sister." "Thank you," Oxbell said sincerely. "I have never met anyone like you. If you made a promise, you have to keep it. Here, take this. Mission complete. Rewards have been increased to the maximum based on completion time. Reward: Lia's Speed Handbook, unique tier, 3 potential points, 500 experience points. Again, I'm starting to hate this world. Such a hassle. Then I'll be going. What a nightmare. Hope I never see you again. Sure, feel free. See you later. Finally found you. Everything is done. Yeah, it's all done. No waities. Kamza is still following and recording everything. And look at this, a unique tier. It's actually a unique tier. Loper, your stream has been hijacked by someone else. Since when did the audience understand the game better than the streamer? Man, at this point, Loper is no different from an AFK bot for his own channel. What? What a genius. What did our Loper do to be that smart? Now, let's go learn swordsmanship. A green light appeared. The book disappeared from Hambit's hand just like that. He was quite stunned by this situation, so he stood there frozen for a few seconds. I still can't get used to this style. Yunwoo suddenly asked, "Hey buddy, the audience is wondering, why did you decide to learn the dash skill?" Hambit rubbed his chin and thought, "Isn't the reason obvious enough?" He began to propose a hypothesis. Imagine you and I are racing at the same speed. I bet all my money on horse number 1. If I activate dash, I'll be slightly faster and win. Right? A black dragon 15.06 seconds, 2 Loper 15.07 seconds. But the dash skill in this RP game has a super small effect. You know that. Yunwoo shook his head and replied, "Even if it's unique tier, it doesn't make a big difference." But the thing he received was Hambit's look of contempt. Try experiencing the feeling of dying over 50 times yourself before talking. You idiot. Yunwoo pulled out his sword. His appearance was extremely confident. You said we would go practice swordsmanship, right? In this field, I am your senior. Tier 2, swordsmanship. Its level has reached an extremely dangerous advanced stage, you know. The viewers saw this and roared. Senior my foot? That's just an average level for an entertainment-style player. Advanced level, gross. Funny as hell. What is this? Just a normal Loper as usual. Loper continues to suffer another failure as per habit. Who would have thought that just one sentence from Hambit would leave Yunwoo too shocked to speak? Is that what the viewers are commenting? While he was struggling with the system screen, Hambit seemed to have drawn a conclusion. It seems like the majority of gamers, including Aono, are following similar paths. He thought about many factors. The cause is definitely that guidebook, isn't it? Because people rumor that currently there's nothing that supports beginners better than that. The reason no one completed Oxbell's mission before me is because no one has the ability to interact with her due to Yulio's scam. All of that created a not-so-good outcome. In the end, Oxbell was captured and went completely missing. She then naturally became an NPC that no one cared about. Of course, there are still many people who choose to play RP in their own style. The excessive freedom in the game makes it impossible for us to know which is the most accurate path. From there, Hambit seemed to conclude that the fact he was the first to solve Oxbell and Leah's mission meant that the experiences he had gained were the clues leading to the correct path. After thinking carefully, Hambit made a decision. All right, then I will conquer RP in my own way. Even so, he still had doubts in his heart. I don't know what the goddess is planning, but no matter what it is, I won't accept being a pawn for her to pull the strings anymore. Hambit and Yunwoo continued on their journey. The surrounding landscape, lush with trees, looked quite pleasant. Hambit, though very expectant, couldn't help but sigh. He is the most sought-after swordsmanship NPC, but the journey is too far. Yunwoo was also tired to the point of exhaustion. He quickly explained, that's because his image is that of a reclusive swordsman. However, upon seeing a small pavilion in front, Yunwoo's voice changed immediately. We've arrived, it's over there. He greeted the other person enthusiastically. Sorry to bother you. I came here to ask to learn swordsmanship. However, the man looked at them with a cold gaze. The murderous aura around him proved to be extremely strong. That person's gaze didn't seem very friendly. Yun was a bit wary when seeing this scene. He still exudes that scary aura, as always. The man slowly put down his teacup, and he just walked over. That person was the swordsmanship skill guide character, NPC Swordsman Boda. Boda didn't greet them at all, but directly gave the mission. Swing this wooden sword. Do it until I tell you to stop. Hanbit looked in the direction of his hand and could see the sword. Use the wooden sword lying behind him. Boda's attitude remained extremely cold. You came to learn the way of the sword, so we don't need to explain at length. The next second, he dropped his own sword and picked up the wooden sword, ready to spar with Hanbit. Yunwoo had also done some research beforehand. This swordsmanship challenge will be divided into 2 stages. The first part is practicing swinging the sword. The second part is sparring. He curiously inquired, how much time did it take everyone to pass this swordsmanship mission? So everyone had an occasion to discuss enthusiastically. For me, it was about an hour and a half. There are also not a few people who had to take more than 2 hours. This really depends on each specific case. The exact evaluation criteria have yet to be found by anyone. One thing is for sure, you'll be done for if you dare to talk back to Boda. I also watched that short video. Yunwoo mumbled to himself, not knowing what he was thinking. A video, an imagined movie scene immediately appeared in his head. Ridiculous. Someone trying to act tough while smelling of alcohol. Should I slash you vertically or horizontally? At this moment, Boda answered his opponent, which was also when he had already finished handling it. Slash horizontally. Yunwoo rubbed his chin and guessed. So, a skill-teaching NPC also has the right to slaughter players. The viewers continuously commented excitedly. This is driving me crazy. The AI here is truly scary. The era of humanity can be considered to have come to an end. I'm very curious to see how Black Dragon will perform. How about we start a poll to see if he can finish it in 30 minutes? But the current shortest record is 28 minutes. There's no way he can do it. Just like that, the viewers decided to go big, making Yunwoo touch to the core. Sun got registered challenge to donate 200,000 won. If it takes over 25 minutes, go experience the feeling of jumping off the Edlin cliff. Ki Tran Nai contributed an additional 20,000 won. Oh my god, the 25-minute mark is really tight. EXO contributed an additional 70,000 won. This is truly the safest investment ever. Receiving the signal, he continuously cheered for Hanbit. Buddy, the prize money for the challenge has exceeded 800,000 already. Just 25 minutes, you will definitely be able to do it. He heard it and was speechless, not wanting to say anything. This amount of money is double the archery mission. Hanbit was extremely silent to concentrate as much as possible. He closed his eyes, ignoring the space around him. Hanbit began to think of a way. The core element when practicing swinging the wooden sword doesn't lie in the number of times performed or the completion time. He had drawn experience for himself. From the beginning, Boda didn't expect much of the ability of novice sword. Most of the players that Boda had interacted with in this virtual world, they all carried that mindset. Isn't the sword always the most basic choice? And more than anyone, Hanbit understood clearly, for Boda, witnessing players acting like that must be an extremely huge insult. He picked up the sword, his gaze now becoming firm. There was only one thing that Boda truly desired, and that was a sincere and serious attitude of theirs towards the sword. He had prepared himself to carry out the confrontation. Boda was still extremely calm, his gaze not showing any fluctuation. Suddenly, Boda raised his hand to signal. He slowly made his declaration. That is enough. Everyone in the room was surprised and fell backwards. He hasn't even swung the sword a single time yet. What the hell just happened? Hanbit also felt he could breathe a sigh of relief. Success. Very quickly, a screen appeared. Linked mission activated. Your determination has touched Boda's heart. Swordsman Boda expresses his deepest respect for your will. Defeat Boda in a direct confrontation spar. The difficulty level will be adjusted to correspond to the player's level and stats. Yunwoo quickly realized. Here it is, the second stage mission. He shouted in panic. Wait, does this also mean the mission has been successfully completed? Now, the comments were divided into two streams of opinion. Completing it in under a minute is definitely pushing the limits. Not counting it. This result must be cancelled. This isn't fun at all anymore. Very quickly, a notification appeared. Sort YMO Tan donated 10,000 won. Want to double the bet? I'll win if he blocks the wooden sword twice. Otherwise, the mission will be voided. Hanbit couldn't help but be suspicious. You intend to double the bet here? Are you sure? Yunwoo hadn't managed to reply yet. Another notification added. Sort Yo Tan donated 100,000 won. If you successfully defend 4 times and clear it, I will reward double the total current amount. If you fail, you and Loper have to go bungee jumping in real life. He looked at Hanbit's back, thinking to himself, have to block 4 times and then win? If my proficiency level affects the difficulty, this could be a bit tricky. Yunwoo screamed as if going crazy. Hey, why'd I have to go jump too? I already said I have a fear of heights. Bet settled, let's do it. You were the one who dragged Black Dragon all the way here. Hanbit smiled in a friendly manner and walked over to pat Yunwoo on the shoulder, making him freeze. Yunwoo's whole body trembled in waves. What is it? Why are you looking at me with those crafty, squinting, suspicious eyes? Do you intend to actually do that? Hanbit quickly reassured him. Don't worry, you won't have to go bungee jumping, don't worry. Yunwoo looked at the other person suspiciously. Are you being serious? Hanbit's gaze was full of confidence. Trust in me. However, it seems the two of them still didn't trust each other very much. However, the notification appeared once more, making them stare in surprise. Sword God donated an additional 100,000 won to the mission fund. Your friendship is truly amazing. Even the viewers couldn't help but exclaim. Truly a wealthy big spender. Hanbit calculated quickly in his head. 1 million won? If I add everything together, it's already 1.8 million. Bodo was still silently looking up at Hanbit. Hanbit gripped the sword in his hand tightly, ready for the match. Boda, on the other side, had also started to advance. The atmosphere at this very moment suddenly became extremely tense. Boda was the one who launched the attack first. He took momentum and rushed forward. Boda's whole body was like an arrow flying quickly towards Hanbit. He clenched his teeth and thought in his heart. The match has begun. Boda's sword collided with the ground, sending dirt and rocks flying everywhere. He didn't hold back at all, slashing straight toward Hanbit. Yunwoo, standing nearby, was so shocked that his jaw dropped. Whoa, what has happened? Has he always been attacking with such relentless pressure like that? Everyone in the live stream chat was equally stunned. I don't know, this is terrifying. This is my first time seeing something like this, too. Could this be some kind of game bug? Hanbit was currently under extreme pressure from the earlier attack. However, he didn't give up and braced himself with everything he had. Seeing this, Yunwoo was even more amazed. He actually held his ground. Suddenly, Boda let out a sharp breath. He pulled back his sword, and energy began to ripple outward. It seemed Boda wasn't giving up yet. Hanbit furrowed his brows, refusing to show any sign of falling behind his opponent. The gap between their two blades was shrinking by the second. The clashing sound of their weapons rang out crisp and clear. Trembling, Hanbit thought to himself, as expected, because I'm inside the game, my senses are still a bit sluggish. The reason probably lies in the device's synchronization rate. Suddenly, he gathered his strength and leaped high into the air. Thanks to his skill, Hanbit narrowly escaped danger. Anyway, it's lucky that I learned the dash skill beforehand. The wind started picking up around them, as if responding to their duel. Boda noticed it immediately. You seem to be lost in thought about something, don't you? His attitude was incredibly arrogant. Are you trying to act composed? Or is this situation just outside of your calculations? Hanbit smirked in response. Isn't it the same for you? The livestream viewers were on edge. Is he actually daring to provoke him right now? This crazy guy is hilarious. Black Dragon, stop acting. Boda frowned, his eyes showing clear annoyance. I think I misjudged who you are. He didn't hold back anymore and lunged forward to attack. I'll end this match quickly. Hanbit wasn't nervous at all. On the contrary, he was completely relaxed. The final result won't be clear until the very last second. The two of them just dove back into their fight. Hanbit was almost slashed, which made Yunwoo panic and yell out. Man, he's too strong. Why is a basic swordsmanship quest this difficult? When Yunwoo saw that Hanbit was still unscathed, he let out a sigh of relief. Thank God he dodged that hit. The people in the live stream had their hearts in their throats. That's terrifying. That was a hair-raising situation. They were analyzing the situation very enthusiastically. Black Dragon's physical coordination is truly insane. Is this really a deep dive game? Hanbit watched Boda's expression and guessed. He must be starting to feel impatient now. It was exactly as he thought. The old man swung his sword forward. Because I should have collapsed long ago. But right now, I'm defending better than expected. Boda seemed determined to finish Hanbit off. Unexpectedly, Hanbit predicted Boda's intent once again and blocked with his sword. Boda was utterly shocked. He couldn't believe the reality unfolding before his eyes. Hanbit even smirked smugly. Your movements are starting to show major openings. Boda was sent stumbling back a fair distance by the force of Hanbit's strength. Hanbit keenly noticed the sword silently gathering power in his opponent's hand. He didn't dare let his guard down for even a second. This looks a bit dangerous. Boda leaped into the air to attack. Hanbit didn't fall behind and attacked as well. It seemed as if their actions were perfectly synchronized. Boda's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He had no intention of letting Hanbit off the hook. On this side, Hanbit's presence was just as formidable. Both of them were equally matched. The clanking sound of their weapons clashing echoed piercingly. Before long, the sword showed signs of cracking. With his extensive experience, Boda managed to knock Hanbit back along with his sword. Hanbit's whole body seemed to absorb a massive impact, yet he wore a devilish smile. Seeing this, Boda was incredibly bewildered. He stood there completely stunned. Even as he landed on the ground, Hanbit still struck a cool pose. That makes 4 successful defenses then. Hanbit was now completely relaxed. The mission had been a great success. Everyone in the live stream room couldn't believe what the hell was happening. Oh, my money. I still don't know the result because the quest isn't really over. What is Balder doing? Hanbit lay stretched out on the ground, sighing. That last round was really intense. The system then announced, the sword fight must stop because the wooden sword has broken. Everyone began to speculate excitedly in the comments. So the challenge ends here. Then the mission must have been a success. But honestly, this is still too hard to believe. The events so far have been way too dramatic. This is the first time I've seen old man Balder lose his cool like that. Is it really only the second day? Hanbit, on the other hand, didn't care much. Anyway, this feeling is still great. Is it really only the second day? Suddenly, he remembered. What about the quest reward? Yunwoo immediately replied, after the live stream ends, I'll calculate it and pay you in full, buddy. Hanbit looked at him suspiciously. Are you really going to transfer it to me? Yunwoo affirmed firmly once again. Of course, buddy. Suddenly, he asked, by the way, we first met in the military, right? Hanbit's face was devoid of any emotion. That's right. So what? Unexpectedly, the next second, Yunwoo placed a hand on his shoulder. He asked excitedly, what job did you have before you joined the army, buddy? Hanbit didn't answer and just thought to himself. Could he mean regression, possession, or reincarnating 55 times? Is he talking about stuff like that? Hanbit hurriedly dodged the question. I just did some odd jobs. Yunwoo then revealed. The chat is currently listing a bunch of guesses about your profession. Hitman, mercenary, special forces, or samurai. Doesn't that sound too ridiculous? Suddenly, someone asked, will all the reward money from this challenge go to Black Dragon? Yunwoo immediately confirmed, for sure. Hanbit scratched his head, feeling confused. Aren't our profits supposed to be split 50-50ths? Why do I get all? Yunwoo was incredibly generous. It's fine, buddy. You cleared those challenges entirely through raw physical skill. Hanbit watched the screen and replied with a cold remark. Thank a lot for saying that. But at least it's a relief you don't have to go jump. As soon as he finished speaking, he was mocked by everyone in the live stream. You really think he'd dare to jump? Seriously? Hanbit was dumbfounded, still not understanding what was going on. Isn't that right? At this moment, the familiar notification appeared. Sword God has donated 100,000 won. From now on, use the sword a lot so I can observe and learn. Yunwoo was moved to tears. Oh my, Lord Sword God, thank you again for this huge donation. I will work harder on my swordsmanship. On this side, Hanbit noticed something. So Balder has been standing alone by the tree this whole time. Hanbit looked at his figure and guessed, that old man looks pretty angry. Even though he was silent, it was clear he was trying to suppress his rage. Hanbit looked at Balder's figure and thought, he's probably blaming himself for letting a rookie like me read through all his moves. At this point, he walked over and asked, the duel is over, right? Even though he didn't want to, Balder had to confirm. That's right. Just wait here. Hanbit stood there, silently watching Balder's retreating figure. The old man was gritting his teeth, trying not to show his true emotions. Whoever comes after me is definitely going to bear the brunt of this anger. After that, he handed over a book. Take this. Hanbit politely accepted it and examined it closely. Magic, archery, dash, and now swordsmanship. This is the 4th one, isn't it? Not long after, a notification appeared. Mission complete. Based on Balder's assessment, the rewards have been upgraded to the maximum level. Received 3,000 gold and the Tier 1 unique grade basic sword mastery book. Everyone in the live stream couldn't help but exclaim. He owns 4 unique grade skills. That's insane. I don't know about other things, but reaching unique grade in swordsmanship is a huge advantage. Breaking news. The RP forum server just crashed. At this moment, another message came in. Aspiring swordsman has donated 10,000 won. Please teach me more about sword techniques. Immediately, everyone started begging. I want to be taught too. Me too. Hanbit didn't have the energy to worry about these things, so he used Yun Wu as a human shield. You handle the interactions with the viewers. I still have things to take care of. He received the order and quickly got to work. Thanks, everyone. I think we can teach you guys a little bit, too. Actually, I've reached level 2 in swordsmanship myself. However, everyone clearly showed their disdain. Nobody cares. Go play somewhere else. Hanbit chased after Balder and called him back. Hey, Balder, I'll ask you one more time. There must be something left over, right? However, Balder just stood there silently, saying nothing. After a moment, he took something out of his pocket. I heard my master has moved to the Edlin region. If you meet him, show him this item. At the very least, he will be willing to listen to what you want to say. My master is in the place where the winds gather. Hanbit took the item and began to ponder Balder's words. The place where the winds gather. After settling things, Hanbit went back to call Yun Wu. Come on, let's head back to the city. By the way, what are you doing? He said confidently, interacting and thanking the audience. But in reality, everyone was booing. My eyes hurt. I promise I'll never ask for lessons again. Just then, another notification arrived. I see Say has donated 100,000 won. Getting tortured by Balder right now. Had to work too hard today. Time just kept passing. After some time, Yun Wu asked out of curiosity, is the next destination going to be Balder's master? The audience was also quite surprised to hear this. I never expected old Balder to have a master. This is definitely not the game I used to know. Hanbit was exhausted and said listlessly, let's stop here for today. Yun Wu was incredibly surprised. What? He just stood up and stretched a few times to relax his body. I still have to go to work. It'll be big trouble if I don't get some sleep. See you tomorrow. Yun Wu didn't force him anymore. That's true. We've been active for a long time today. See you tomorrow, buddy. As soon as you're off work, you've got to come back immediately. Got it. But Hanbit replied carelessly, I can't promise that. Hanbit just logged out of the game like that. It's so hot. By now, he was drenched, sweating like he had just come out of a bath. I need to shower and go to sleep right away. Or maybe it's because I was too focused on the sword quest. I didn't even move that much in real life. But just then, his phone rang. It was a message. Buddy, you did a great job today. I'll pay you right now. I'm going to pass out and go to sleep. Looking at the money transferred, Hanbit mused to himself. You could have just saved it up and sent it all at once later, you know? But when he looked closer, he couldn't help but be shocked. Hanbit just stared at his phone, frozen for a few seconds. His hands couldn't help but tremble. What is this? Is the donation amount from yesterday and today really this high? Hanbit started calculating. The actual playtime has only been about 10 hours. Is it possible that I don't need to go to work anymore? No. I worked so hard just to return to the reality I always dreamed of. If I have any intention of going back to that path, that would be completely wrong. So Hanbit told himself, I'm really sorry to the audience, but let's just treat this live stream as a hobby. The audience was a bit frustrated. Black Dragon, are you crazy? Stop acting cool. That cheating Black Dragon actually has 4 unique grade skills. Hanbit felt guilty thinking about Yun Wu. I'm a bit worried about him. He helped me out quite a lot. Buddy, I just transferred 3 million won. You're going to keep live streaming, right? He had already promised the other guy at that moment. What? 3 million won? Of course. Hanbit was trying to convince himself. No, I need to stay sharp. Donation money definitely won't always be this plentiful forever. Mom will definitely be more at ease if I have a stable job. But thinking it over again, Hanbit smiled happily. But showing filial piety like this once in a while is also really great. Sometime later, Hanbit woke up to urgent calling. Bit. Kong Hanbit. At this moment, Hanbit was still dazed and hadn't come to his senses yet. Mom, why are you calling me so early? Si-yun scolded him angrily. What do you mean early? It's already broad daylight out here. She pointed furiously at the phone screen. More importantly, where did this money come from? Hanbit opened his eyes and looked first. He looked at that number, not knowing how to answer. That's... Si-yun gave Hanbit a few more hits. What on earth have you been doing all night long? You haven't been doing anything shady behind my back, have you? Hanbit said, feeling unjustly accused. No, I earned this money legitimately. Please listen to my explanation before you hit me. Si-yeon was still suspicious and didn't believe her son. Legitimate? What kind of legitimate? She glared at Hanbit. The only way to get a large sum of money this fast is gambling. He heard that and felt completely helpless. Already told you it's not like that. Seriously, Hanbit began to recount the whole story. I told you about Yunwoo before, right? And I said he gave me a gift to invite me to play games with. We live-streamed the game together. Because the audience's reaction was better than expected, I made a bit of money. Hanbit affirmed it once again. You know better than anyone. I'm not the type of person to do illegal things. Si-yeon sighed and said, Oh, let's talk more about this when I get home from work. You should hurry up and get ready for work, too. Hanbit still didn't give up and kept talking. Mom, I'm telling the truth. Si-yeon's voice softened noticeably. Who said I don't believe you? I'm just worried that you're working too hard. Hanbit heard that and was so moved he went blank. After a long while, he thought to himself, Mom, don't worry too much. From now on, you won't have to bear this debt alone anymore. Hanbit promised himself, I will work hard so Mom can live the most comfortable and peaceful life possible. Hanbit narrowed his eyes in contemplation. I had to fight for my life. Having gone through 55 regressions, possession, and reincarnation in other worlds, the weight of reality now felt like nothing compared to that terrifying time. He clenched his fists, thinking cautiously. I used to think that way. But Sungmin rested his chin on his hands and started criticizing. And in turn, yet you dare to be dazed when you've only just started working. Is that acceptable? He leaned back into his chair and reminded, Get yourself together. This is a professional office environment. Hanbit screamed in frustration in his head, getting yelled at by the old boss for no reason early in the morning. It's so annoying. He recalled the moment Miho handed him the stack of documents. As soon as I arrived at the office, Senior Lee Miho gave me a pile of papers and went out for a field survey. Hanbit stood there, intently flipping through the lines of text inside. The content was a bit complex, but arranged very scientifically, so I didn't have much difficulty grasping it. Then he turned around, confused, intending to leave. Just as I was about to get to work, the team leader suddenly called me back. At this moment, Hanbit bowed his head and stood silently in front of Sungmin. The old man called me a trial version and started giving me a hard time with tasks unrelated to my expertise. He clicked his tongue and threw an ID card onto the table, ordering, Go downstairs and buy some coffee to bring up here for me. Hanbit asked tentatively, Team leader, what kind of coffee would you like? Sungmin's brows furrowed slightly, his expression not very pleased. He glared at Hanbit and snapped, Around here, we only drink iced Americanos. Did Lee Miho not teach you anything? He jumped in panic and replied, No, it's just that I momentarily forgot. After that, Hanbit trudged away with heavy steps. That old man is trying to use Lee Miho to bully me if I show any opening. Even though it was just running errands, my steps felt incredibly heavy. A while later, I returned and saw Sung Min scolding Miho. When I finished buying the coffee and returned to my seat, I saw Lee Miho being severely scolded by the team leader. His eyes were devoid of any spirit as he listened. It was as if this were an everyday occurrence. He just stood there listening to the old bosses nagging with dead eyes. Miho's face was completely expressionless. Then he finally spoke slowly. He expressed his current state tiredly. With the current workload, I'm afraid I cannot take on any additional tasks. Sungmin gripped the documents in his hand and shouted furiously, Lee Miho, have you grown wings now? How dare you be picky about work? He waved his hand and threw it straight at Miho's face. Sungmin yelled irritably, If you're told to do it, just take care of it. You damn thing. Hanbit saw the situation and placed the coffee cup down hard on the table. Team leader, here is your coffee. Following that, he knelt down to pick up every single paper from the floor. Sungmin held his coffee cup, casting a cold gaze toward Hanbit. The team leader gave me a sharp, cutting glare, as if he had already understood the hidden meaning behind my actions. He reprimanded in a low voice, You guys are truly unbelievable. After returning to the office, Miho leaned back against his chair, exhausted. Once the document organization was finished, we returned to our workstations. Miho's mood seemed very troubled. Hanbit observed his expression reflected through the computer screen. His eyes looked emptier than ever before. Then, Miho spoke with a sincere tone, apologizing. I'm sorry, Kong Hanbit. I'll let you see an unpleasant scene again. Hanbit scratched his head and replied with a forced smile. It's fine, it's nothing. It's probably just because the team leader is in a bad mood today. He wasn't apologizing just for that, though. He turned around and slowly began to share. The new project the team leader assigned to me belongs to the development department. You see, Miho glanced at the stack of documents and continued. However, it will consume a lot of time. I'm afraid that from now on, I won't be able to guide you as thoroughly as before. It's a shame. That's the reason I feel very guilty toward you. At this moment, Hanbit calmly asked back, when you dropped the pile of documents earlier, I accidentally glanced at them. Does that new project involve the RP game? He rested both hands on the table and revealed without any concealment. That's right, it's a project about the equipment industry, but the machinery system is very complex, so I'm forced to experience the game directly for a long time. Miho's face was full of seriousness as he tapped his chest and said, regarding that, I think I can be of help to you. The sunset sky gradually turned a pinkish-purple hue. He left the car, stepping onto the ground. Hanbit stood silently in place, his eyes focused intently on his phone screen. Yunwoo waved to call him. Buddy, I'm over here. Hanbit went stiff at his appearance. Yunwoo approached him with a radiant smile and asked, Did work go smoothly for you today? A faint curve was visible under his eyes. Hanbit raised an eyebrow and pointed at Yunwoo's face, commenting, You look like a ghost. Didn't you sleep at all? He offered enthusiastically. I actually slept for 3 hours. Anyway, now that we're inside the house, let's discuss further. The coffee shop sign lit up. Hanbit sighed wearily, leaning back in his chair to complain. This corporate life is truly a nightmare. Seeing Hanbit's state, Yunwoo asked, Is it that bad? He replied listlessly, I really want to dedicate an entire stream just to cursing out that team leader. Then Hanbit slumped onto the table, puzzled. So, what exactly did you want to talk to me about? Yunwoo held his phone screen straight out for him. See, look at this, check it out. He shared excitedly. These are the messages that have come in since our stream yesterday. Many different companies have tried to contact us. Yunwoo turned the phone toward himself and added, There's even a major corporation like Iho Gaming. They are offering a starting salary of up to 100 million. Hanbit was surprised and speechless. 100 million? He held up his index finger and shared awkwardly. Currently, companies are fighting each other to get you. Which one are you planning to choose? In my opinion, this spot is the best. Yunwoo noticed Hanbit's probing expression and became flustered. Buddy, what's wrong? Why is your face so tense? Did something happen at the company? He used his hands on the table to stand up and expose the truth. Stop hiding it, just tell me. Hanbit stepped closer to Yunwoo and said in a serious tone, If you lie to me, I'll know it immediately. He backed away slightly to justify. I'm not hiding anything. Hanbit's face was filled with murderous intent as he questioned, Do you really want me to join a large corporation? Yunwoo broke into a cold sweat and hesitated. Bit, aren't you a tough guy? I didn't have any bad intentions. He clenched his fist and replied, I know that. Then Hanbit used both hands to mess up Yunwoo's hair. Even so, don't hide your true feelings like that. He raised an eyebrow and shouted, That hurts, oh my God. In the coffee shop, Yunwoo's sharp scream rang out everywhere. He drooped his head and whispered reproachfully, That's way too much. Yunwoo teared up as he poured his heart out. I know you're having financial difficulties, so I just wanted you to have a better job. I also know you wouldn't like it if I kept helping you like this. Isn't a starting salary of 100 million an extremely attractive offer? Hanbit waved his hand to respond. I deeply appreciate your feelings, and of course that 100 million salary is way too good for me. But you were the one who invited me to play RP together. Yunwoo listened thoughtfully to his words. I think I need to listen to what your wishes are first. Yunwoo shared honestly. It's true that RP is currently a very popular game, but to be honest, it doesn't really suit me that much. He remembered the moment. He tiredly rested his hands on his knees. Pursuing adventure and free-spirited independence sounds romantic and cool. But when I started playing for real, it was much harder than I thought, and I haven't made much progress either. In reality, I prefer being a viewer. Hanbit's relaxed silhouette was captured in Yunwoo's view. For someone like me, you're the brightest star in this RP world. Lines of memories flashed through Yunwoo's head. all those fresh and interesting moments when playing with. I want to immerse myself in it, and I want to share that feeling with everyone. He smiled gently and affirmed sincerely. So, I want to build an MSN revolving around. Hanbit smiled, tenderly looking at Yunwoo sharing. Instead of a rigid company, it's like a guild combining real life and the game. He rested his chin on his hand and replied, "Oh, isn't that what you mentioned back when we were in the military?" Yunwoo immediately denied, "No. Do you remember what I said while we were training?" Hanbit asked back confusedly, "What's important about that? So how do you plan to make money?" He scrolled through his phone and explained, "A function for uploading videos to Big Corner, the platform we are broadcasting on, has just been updated. The revenue from advertising is actually bigger than I thought." Yunwoo stopped at a post about Hanbit and continued, "And right now, you're the most talked about user on Nekara. Furthermore, they are placing our videos in the most prominent positions." He imagined Hanbit holding a flag, leading a crowd, and added, "People, after witnessing your skills, will start to enter the world of RP, and more people will want to accompany us on that journey." Yunwoo, radiant, asked, "What do you think about us expanding our broadcast scale?" Hanbit broke into a cold sweat and hesitated to bring up his dilemma. "Didn't you promise to help me get a job at a big corporation?" Yunwoo imagined himself and Hanbit standing on stage and said, "Oh, by the way, you won't be an employee. Let's be co-sis." Behind them both was a large board with the text, "I will show everyone what a wonderful RP performance looks like." He affirmed firmly, "There will be times when you need to go live directly, so I will support you as much as I can." Hanbit let out a long sigh and requested, "Co-CEO, just say what you want. I'll help you." At this time, a female employee brought food over. "Your food is here." Yunwoo smiled and thanked her. "Thank you. I will definitely develop this really well." His face carried a thoughtful look, his eyes lowering. "Of course, the reason I joined RP was to research, but..." Hanbit imagined himself reaching his hand toward a blinding light. "This is also the last chance for me to reach the ending." He glanced at his reflection through the coffee cup. "If I complete the game and find the airport, will I finally understand?" Hanbit's brows furrowed tightly as he angrily asked himself, "Why do I have to lose my life over and over again in this way?" Suddenly, the phone rang, attracting the attention of both him and Yunwoo. He immediately picked it up to check the information. Yunwoo held the food plate and said excitedly, "I just received another bunch of new messages." Yunwoo stared at his phone while eating. As expected, the life of a celebrity is always like this. "What?" He suddenly startled and blurted out, "Wait, what the hell is going on? What is all of this? I need to make a quick phone call first." "Wait a second." Yunwoo hurriedly called someone, murmuring, "Please pick up." He looked at the phone screen anxiously and shouted, "Why aren't you answering at a time like this?" Seeing Yunwoo's loss of control, Hanbit asked, "What is happening?" He suddenly mentioned the archer. "Do you still remember the Vanguard team we met before?" Hanbit quickly remembered and crossed his arms to respond. "Ah, the guy with the golden bow, right?" Yunwoo raised an eyebrow and said, "They're the Vanguard force belonging to a German company called Loa Xian. There is news that the quest reward rank will decrease in the order of arrival. The Loa Xian side has declared they will monopolize this quest. Except for the bomb slimes, for some reason, other types of slimes are no longer appearing." Yunwoo delivered the news to Hanbit. "Rumors are spreading that you and I colluded beforehand." He went stiff, his face showing obvious confusion. "What kind of ridiculous thing is that?" On the other side, a member of the team angrily raised his fist. "It's so frustrating. Those Loa Xian bastards. Black Dragon Loper, you guys are scammers," he shouted frustratedly. "There is no one left in this world to trust." Naon put her hands on her hips and said loudly, "Be quiet for a second." She took out a book with a green gem in the center and said, "At least I was lucky enough to get a rare item. If I'd been any slower, I wouldn't even have an ordinary item to hold." Then she expressed her outrage. "How can quest rewards be calculated based on first come, first served? It's so absurd." Naon didn't even bother looking at him and replied, "If you use your brain a little, you'd see it's obvious. People would never give out unique, great items for free. You idiot." Then she suddenly turned back to explain, "That's why I told you to go really fast to get it. I don't know what Loa Xian did, but even the bomb slimes aren't appearing anymore. Taemin pointed his index finger at Naun and retorted, "So what? I didn't know things would turn out like this." She threatened in a serious tone, "If you dare to bother me again, I will break your legs." In the middle of the forest, Taemin and Naun constantly exchanged words. "Anyway, that black dragon guy has to pull something off today. If he saw Loa Xian's announcement, he'll find a way to solve it." At the coffee shop, Hanbit furrowed his brows and asked, "How big is that Loa Xian corporation?" Yunwoo imagined the archer in his head and answered, "A company's value is judged by the number of powerful players they possess. That archer guy has 9,000 combat power. Even though he's a bit weak among the high-ranking players, it's still considered a fairly strong guild." He kept a calm demeanor and crossed his arms, saying, "There's still one plan to solve this problem." Hanbit picked up the coffee cup handle and suggested, "Loper, let's start today's stream a bit later. I have a few things I need to verify." Then he calmly took a sip of water. Darkness covered the entire high-rise building. Hanbit opened the book and quickly flipped through the pages. He quickly stopped to observe one page. Hanbit curled his lips into a smirk. He exclaimed excitedly, his eyes still glued to the page, "Found it." Hanbit stepped into another world. "So, let's go check it out now." He stepped straight toward the cave. The location of this cave was exactly as he remembered. Hanbit stopped in front of a bomb slime and muttered, "The bomb slimes are gathering in this cave, just as predicted. Must be really careful not to let them explode." Then he went straight deep into the cave. Suddenly Hanbit stopped, looking into the distance. He slightly raised his head and pondered, "There's only one reason for the bomb slimes to gather in such large numbers at one point like this." Hanbit turned to the side and exclaimed, "Found it!" A large bomb slime king came into his sight. Bomb slime king, level 7. Hanbit carefully observed and evaluated. This bomb slime king has the trait of attracting and absorbing ordinary individuals to grow its body size. He looked at the impact of the bomb slime king and thought, however, the amount of individuals it attracts at once shouldn't be this many. There must be another reason. Suddenly Hanbit noticed a sparkling trail of light. He stared at it and muttered, "Isn't that a monster lure device?" Hanbit approached the monster lure device and continued, "The name Loa Xian is clearly engraved on it." He began to imagine its function. Monster lure machines are single-use items that can be found in northern dungeons. Hanbit thought about the bomb slime king. Loa Xian placed the lure device right inside this cave, the residence of the bomb slime king. And the combination of the monster's traits and the performance of the lure machine created this mess. He suspiciously realized, no wonder there was nothing else here except for the bomb slimes. Hanbit reached out his hand and cast fire magic. Fireball. He cast the technique toward the bomb slime king. In an instant, it was covered by Hanbit's flames. The bomb slime king shuddered under the pressure of the magic. It quickly vanished into thin air. The system board displayed a series of lines. System, experience points received is 7,720. System, you have leveled up 4 times. System, received 4 potential points. Title, Enemy of Bomb Slimes has been added. Enemy of Bomb Slimes. Damage dealt to slime monsters increased by 5%. System, you have finished exterminating elite monsters, plus 1 potential point. Title, El Cola Level XX is activated, greatly increasing skill proficiency. Hanbit stared with his mouth wide open, as if not believing his eyes. Oh, so many things have accumulated here like this. A web page displayed information. The video posted on the forum was becoming the center of attention. A series of questions were asked. Please ensure members follow the general community rules. Where on earth did all those bomb slimes disappear to? The images of the bomb slime king and the monster lure device were captured by Hanbit. Honestly, I was the one who filmed the scene in that cave. Then Yunwoo helped me post it under an anonymous identity. Yunwoo frowned as he looked at the computer screen and scolded, "What a bunch of contemptible scumbags." The internet was now flooded with criticism aimed at his schemes. Of course, I proactively removed the part where I wiped out the bomb slimes. And it was no surprise the comment section was full of insults aimed at Loa Xian. Hanbit was intently reading the book. Jinsho is the NPC character I found in the guidebook. He suddenly thought about Jin Fair, who was searching inside the cave. He is the miner who personally dug the cave where the Bomb Slime King resided. Jin Sham was extremely devastated when the cave he worked so hard to dig was occupied by the Bomb Slime King. The gentle sunlight shone down on the cave entrance. My hypothesis about the bomb slimes disappearing is related to the alpha male. Hanbit held his hand in the air, his eyes looking forward, and confirming the existence of Gentrum helped me find its lair easily. The blue sky with a gentle breeze blew through each branch. A strange point is that although Jin Cho's name is in the guidebook, Hanbit rested his chin on his hand, looking very thoughtful, but there wasn't a single piece of news about that cave at all. He imagined the mysterious person with the book. Even if it is a guidebook, it doesn't necessarily have to reveal all the secrets. However, the key lies in the range of knowledge that Adventurer A possesses. Hanbit remembered each note in the book he had read through. A massive amount of information had been recorded, but its accuracy was very vague. There were even parts that deviated from the truth. His brows furrowed slightly, filled with thoughts. It felt like a gear that had been deliberately left outside. Hanbit stepped forward. Adventurer, what on earth is your true identity? Yun Wu raised his index finger and said, that proficiency is the reason people avoid learning magic. He was filled with gloom and gritted his teeth. Proficiency must be at a high level to be able to cast skills. However, the difficulty of increasing magic proficiency is truly terrifying. Yun Wu shared awkwardly. Because it's something normal people can hardly endure, most give up. There are also many people waiting for mages to be buffed even more. Then they will switch to another skill branch that is easier. Then he pointed straight at Hanbit and continued, but for you. He narrowed his eyes, feeling helpless at Yun Wu's words. Does it make any sense to reach 100% proficiency in just one day? He dashed over and tapped Hanbit lightly. This is definitely a lie, like an April Fool's joke that is overdue, isn't it? Please tell me this isn't real. He replied awkwardly. Anyway, that was just first-tier magic, the lowest level possible. Yun Wu pressed his cheek close to Hanbit's face. Learning any spell takes months. Open a status window for me right now. He opened his mouth wide at Yun Wu's action. Why does this guy have to overreact like that? He stubbornly requested, bring the evidence here for me to see. Hanbit helplessly agreed to follow Yun Wu's wish. Here. Look, I told you it was the truth. He was like he had been drained of all his strength, collapsing onto the ground. Yun Wu couldn't accept the truth and shed tears. Is it a game bug? It must be a bug. This can't happen. Hanbit helplessly turned away and shouted back, well, things just happened exactly like that. He replied like a soulless person, I really don't want to see you happy to this extent. Hanbit suddenly reminded, don't be in such a hurry to mention the proficiency on the live stream. Yun Wu looked at him shyly, to deal with those villains too. Then Hanbit curled his lips to greet everyone. Hello everyone. Loper is live. The badge worn on his shirt caught his eye. Hanbit looked toward the back and told him to quickly explain everything clearly. A flash of light crossed Yun Wu's mind. He recalled the moment he was happily chatting during the livestream session. You already possess the badge for subscribers. That's right. Yun Wu clasped his hands together and sincerely said, everyone, please be calm. We also need some time to verify the incident. Let me confirm right away. We have absolutely no connection to Loa Xian. We will soon provide authentic evidence, so please patiently wait. He told about Hanbit's story, and Black Dragon said that he has work to do before going to look for Boda's master, so let's all follow along together. Someone narrowed their eyes and raised a dilemma. Did Liao run away somewhere else again? Oxbell replied nonchalantly, yes, that is exactly right. She folded her arms helplessly and shared. She really won't listen to a single piece of advice from me at all. Hanbit rested his chin on his hand and smiled radiantly. Understand, kids at that age usually have such personalities. She will be back soon. Oxbell remained silent, simply curling the corners of her mouth. She then gently whispered her thanks. I hope so too. Thank you so much, Black Dragon. Boda chimed in at this moment. Do you have anything you need to take care of while you're here today? Hanbit scratched his head, explaining. I'm hoping to learn the next level of magic. A flurry of messages scrolled by. The next level of magic, what is he talking about? Oh, right, Black Dragon is still a complete newbie. Does he actually think she'll just hand it over just because he asked? She readily agreed with a warm smile. Learn the next level of magic? Of course, why not? A row of bewildered comments appeared. What? Wait, why did she agree so easily? What about his proficiency level? Is this a hidden quest that doesn't require proficiency? This is absolutely insane. Oxbell's beauty is just as insane. Seriously, it's unreal. She pushed the book toward Hanbit to signal him. Take this. This is the second spellbook for you. The system displayed a new quest. Quest. Learn the second magic skill from Oxbell. Objective. Use Oxbell's spellbook. Reward. 10,000 gold. Grade 2 Fireball. Epic. 3 stat points. 3,000 EXP. Lines of messages flooded the chat. What? Only epic grade? What a shame. Not unique. You maniacs, epic grade is already pretty rare. My standards have been pushed way too high just from watching Black Dragon. Maybe the rewards are limited to whoever gets here first. Run, before the Loa Xian Guild snatches it up. Hanbit picked up the book slowly, his eyes shifting toward the distance. A crowd of people outside the door eager to catch the gossip came into his view. Right? Everyone must be really curious about this. Hanbit opened the first page of the book. He focused intently, absorbing the knowledge within. Moments later, the notification board appeared. The system announced that the quest had been officially completed. Due to being the first to complete it, the reward level has been upgraded from epic to unique. The gold reward increased from 10,000 to 20,000. The stat points received increased from 3 to 6. Experience points skyrocketed from 3,000 to 7,000. Your level has increased by 2. You have been granted 2 additional stat points. Yunwu said eagerly. Look everyone, Black Dragon leveled up and mastered Fireball. Comments filled with astonishment appeared. A unique grade 2 skill? Is this for real? Even a normal Fireball is hard to come by. And he's the first to get it? And it's unique grade? I guess epic grade just isn't enough for Black Dragon anymore, is it? This really makes me rethink my life. I bet the rewards for this quest drop as more people complete it. Those bastards from Loa Xian, I'm so jealous of that unique equipment set. Oxbell stared at Hanbit and advised. If you run into any trouble, try visiting the Magic Research Lab in Yuffie City. You're bound to find a way out of your predicament there. He turned and expressed his gratitude. Thank you, I'll be back soon. Hanbit then took his leave at a leisurely pace. He opened the wooden door and saw a massive crowd of people. Yunwu covered her mouth in confusion. Yikes, they look terrifying. Comments popped up. That's the Loa Xian Guild. Look at them swarming in like flies. Those sons of bitches have already started blocking off and controlling this area. The archer glared at Hanbit with sharp, cold eyes. He and Yunwu walked forward calmly. Hanbit brushed past him with a teasing remark. Hey guys, you look pretty intense. Relax your brows a little. Did something terrible happen to you? He added with no sign of respect. I hope things go smoothly for you, but I'm curious to see how this ends. Oxbell's shop became increasingly noisy. Hey Oxbell, hand over that spellbook right now. Hey, I want a spellbook too. Me too, give me one. The crowd stood noisily in front of her shop waiting. The people from Loa Xian were truly ruthless and unreasonable. Hanbit sat down on the ground, offering a mischievous comment. I couldn't agree more. They really are insatiably greedy. Yunwu turned to him, worried. But putting that aside, what is it that you wanted to show us? At this rate, Loa Xian is just going to hoard all the benefits. Hanbit asked back calmly. Loper, in your opinion, what's the difference between them and me? The archer stood in front of everyone, book in hand, and commanded. I'm going to count to 3, and we're all going to open them at the same time. Hanbit jumped to his feet as the counting began. 1. He stood with his hands on his hips, full of anticipation. It's all starting now. Hanbit directed his gaze toward the shop. 2. Everyone raised their books at the same time as the archer counted the final number. 3. Then they all simultaneously opened their pages. The archer glanced gloomily at every word in the book. Just then, Hanbit's lips moved slightly. Simmer. Each of the books in the archer's group erupted into flames. They were beginning to scorch. What the hell is happening? The archer shouted in frustration. My spellbook. Confused messages scrolled by. Wait, why are their books bursting into flames like that? A brown-haired girl watched helplessly as her book was consumed by the fire. The flames couldn't even be put out. A series of excited comments appeared. That's so heartwarming. Wind attribute magic usually can't put out fire, can it? This is hilarious. Oxbell crossed her arms, trying to contain her anger at the chaos in front of her. What on earth is going on? No, help me. Fear-filled comments popped up. Oh no. Oxbell is actually furious. She's being extremely aggressive. Good thing the shop isn't catching fire too. A moment later, she commanded through gritted teeth. Everyone, get the hell out of here right now. The archers group screamed in desperation. We're screwed. Damn it. Hanbit clapped his hands with delight. They're about to be toasted to a crisp. What a waste. Yunwoo pointed toward the shop and asked, So, this is what you were talking about. A slew of messages scrolled by. Old Man Wind Black Dragon, you really are cold-blooded. But seriously, why did the magic only work for Black Dragon? I have no idea. Let's just enjoy the show for now. Come on, this is actually pretty entertaining. The archer observed the system board reporting the news. The quest rewards have changed. Quest: master the second magic from Oxbell. Objective: use Oxbell's spellbook. Reward: 5,000 gold. Grade 2 Fireball. Rare: receive 1 stat point, 1,000 EXP. A bunch of messages popped up like lightning. All the reward tiers have been downgraded. So the rewards really do depend on who arrives first. A magic quest where the rewards drop before anyone has even actually learned it. It's because of those bastards from Loa Xian that everyone arriving later has to suffer. The archer asked coldly, how many people have actually completed this quest smoothly so far? The person next to him replied hesitantly, well, actually, not a single one. A dark, gloomy aura exuded from his entire body. Yunwoo flinched as she saw the archer approaching them. They're coming toward us aggressively. A flurry of speculative comments appeared. Looks like that archer is furious. Is a guild really going to attack a newbie? Black Dragon has to maintain his reputation, so he's trying to act like he's not scared at all. Hanbit watched the archer without the slightest bit of anxiety. He glared at Hanbit and demanded loudly, Hey, you newbie, we need to have a little talk.